How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Seekers, sit back, let's do what we do best, Seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Yeah, I know what we do. Let's seek the truth.
This is just one more reason why I stopped eating fast food altogether. And why do I say that? Because a Popeyes in Louisiana has a lot of explaining to do. A gigantic roach was seen in a kitchen crawling all through the batter that they put on the chicken. Have a look at this nasty video for yourself. I just can't. Just can't. This was recorded by an employee. It's just, I can't. It's disgusting. Once again, we all know fast food is not the best thing in the world for you or your body or your health. But then to actually see this behind the scenes, gigantic roach swimming around in the batter, makes it 10 times more gross than it needs to be. But think about this, if these young people working in these restaurants did not put these videos up on social media, you will never know what the heck is going on in some of these kitchens.
Facts.
So Popeyes, count your days with that kind of activity going on in your kitchen. Just totally disgusting and uncalled for. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Seekers, how many of you guys going back to Popeyes now, bro? I don't think a lot of y'all probably going back anytime soon now after seeing that video, aren't y'all? It's like the sky's like split. Dark and light.
What podcast you think you've done this year?
Oh, this year? I've cut
20?
back. No. 50, 60?
Do you ever feel like anyone you're talking to might be, some of these podcasters are part of the CIA, or?
Oh, yeah.
You really think so?
Yeah, I have a friend who's an investigative journalist.
You could tell right away I'm not.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
No.
you can tell.
I have a friend who's an investigative journalist, and she makes really, really good use of the Freedom of Information Act. And she thinks that some of the more prominent podcasters, she believes it's 3 of them.
Do you want to give me a name?
I can't because they'll sue me. But she thinks they're taking CIA money.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories about that. And the more and more you even watch, have you ever heard of No Jumper?
No.
This guy named Adam22, and he has on all these rappers come on all the time. And they tell these stories about crimes they're involved with, and a lot of them end up in jail. So there's a bunch of theories that he's a Fed, all this, and I'm like, the more and more I watch these interviews, I'm like, this is...
You're describing The Intercept.
Yeah.
After the
We got speaking podcasters, CIA agents, secret agents, bro. He said there's 3 prominent ones, man. I ain't gonna lie. Tell me down below, Seekers, man, and you guys' guesses. I think I have a few who freaking intercepted the scene, bro, undercover. But I want to see you guys' thoughts first, though. That's crazy, man.
floating branch in a Texas man's backyard suddenly disappeared, the story took an even stranger turn. Now he claims the same spot may have opened some kind of cross-dimensional wormhole. The man first went viral after saying he saw a tree branch floating in the air behind his house. It was not connected to a tree, wire, roof, or spider web. He also claimed rocks passed through it, and the branch vanished right before local media was supposed to come and film it. But the next day, he kept watching the exact place where the branch had been. He said the air there looked slightly twisted, like something was not normal. To test it, he threw a baseball toward the spot. According to him, the baseball suddenly stopped in midair right where the branch had been. It did not fall, spin, or move. It just stayed there, floating without anything holding it. Of course, many people still accused him of faking everything. Some said it was just a spider web again, so they told him to shine a strong flashlight and a UV light around the baseball at night. He did it, and viewers were shocked because nothing appeared around the ball. The man now says he has rejected the media interview. He claims he is worried the story will get too big and someone in black suits may show up at his door. What do you think?
You guys talk about what's happening in GTA 6?
Oh, how there's like real money being involved?
Yeah, and also the game will remember what you do.
What do you mean?
So like, say you rob a bank, right? That bank will be closed on the duration of your story and people will know you and people will react different to you now. So, oh, you're a robber, what the heck? because you just robbed that bank. It'll do its own thing like real life. So I know that for sure once that comes out, we're in a simulation because we can't differentiate between a video game and life no more.
Because it reacts just like how regular people
Exactly.
react. Like NPCs
Yes.
become just real people.
Yes, everything that you do from the beginning to the end will react how your player will react. So if you're an aggressive player, people will treat you like
See, the scariest part about this is because eventually there will be a game just like that, just like life.
What the hell?
He heard a strange noise coming from his room, and this is what he found.
What in the alien is that?
The man grabbed his phone after spotting this unidentified creature. First glance, it looked like a spider, but the longer you watch it, the stranger it gets.
Yeah, facehugger vibes, bro.
The way it moves doesn't seem natural, and nobody can agree on what they are looking at. Some people think that it's an unusual insect, while others believe that it's something more unsettling. But whatever this is, it's enough to make you think twice before ignoring strange things coming from your house. Watch the video again and let me know what do you think this could be.
Spider Molten? That's my best guess.
I don't think it's weird that one of the biggest companies in the world and one of the most famous women in the world, that they made an ad about Meta glasses, right? The same style as the movie They Live. If you don't know what They Live is, it's basically man discovers a secret that aliens are actually running our planet and are on the verge of controlling everything on Earth and every person. But he uses these glasses to find that out. Learns that there are people walking amongst him that aren't human. They are the aliens in suits. When I saw this ad, I realized, wow, they are actually telling us what they are doing. I'm telling y'all right now, they're not being used for what they're telling us. There's a deeper, darker reason why they're pushing these glasses so hard on us. Stay weird.
Seekers, man, those meta glasses, I keep seeing more and more ads of those joints popping up, bro. Even in a scary time, man. And they referencing They Live, like, are they telling us once again, man, that they're putting it right in front of our faces, man, and some people not gonna pick up on it unless you're wearing the meta glasses. Okay. We're living in a weird time, bro.
Oh, you wait till you see the front, that's all. Where's the truck?
Saying these fires smell like what?
Doesn't necessarily smell like a campfire burning, because as the smoke is carried across thousands of miles, sunlight breaks down these compounds, leaving behind toxic substances like benzene and formaldehyde, which is why the air can smell like chemicals. The American Lung Association warning of the long-lasting impacts from this, saying these particles can penetrate deep into the lungs and even enter the bloodstream.
Sunlight makes the air smell like chemicals now. I lived in California my whole life. Never once has a wildfire smell like no chemicals. But let's see what else he's got to say.
Coal pollution triggers asthma attacks, heart attacks, and strokes, and can...
Wow. So not only does this wildfire smell like chemicals, but it can cause you to have a stroke and can kill you. That's a first.
This is the clothing of the future. Check this out. Clothes that suit up without the wearer having to use their hands at all. It's developed by a team of American and South Korean researchers. Tubes powered by air pressure can fully outfit someone in just 10 seconds.
Over 20,000 people gone from the heat wave going on in Europe in a very short period of time. 20,000 people. That's a lot of people dying because of how hot it is. Like, you can't do nothing about that. Like, you can't hide from the sun. The sun is pulling all of the water out these folks' bodies. and dehydrating them. They passing out or going to sleep and not waking up. Over 20,000 people. Like, what can you do about that? Nothing can be done. It's like the sun got a personal vendetta over them folks. What has Europe done to the sun? Man, whatever they done, man, it's time to repent. Or it might be too late. Because, obviously, over 20,000 people down to the sun?
Air quality that's going on around right now is like historically
Scientists are
bad.
sounding the alarm over this image. Why? Because there is a massive cold blob in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Let me tell you why this is important. Scientists say this could be a tipping point that could eventually lead to a global climate catastrophe. This cold blob is in the North Atlantic Ocean, south of Greenland, and the issue is that while the rest of the ocean is heating, this part of the ocean is cooling. And scientists now say that this could mean that we are heading towards a climate tipping point. So there's a thing called the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or also known as AMOC. It works like a conveyor belt, according to scientists that spoke with CNN. It pulls warm water up and then cold water back down. Well, now scientists are saying that the AMOC may be heading towards a tipping point, potentially as early as this century. And if that occurs, that means that a future collapse could be locked in. And that would cause global catastrophe. So this is something to monitor. We'll see what happens next. As always, spread the word. Follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. More to come soon.
So heads up, I guess that they are now, whoever they is, by the way, I guess that they are trying to sneak little pills or whatever they are into people's food. Just wanted to give y'all a heads up, because I mean, look around you.
Anything is possible these days.
Right.
However, though, in 2016 when he got out of prison, this man was a totally different person, which some people literally believe.
I'm hearing that Gucci is a clone. I would either support or deny those accusations.
Gone was the bloated and impulsive Gucci man we had formerly been accustomed to, and in his place was this clean-cut, sharply dressed man with a six-pack of abs. And that's when fans started noticing other odd differences too. Some claim that his tattoos look different, or were missing altogether. And although, depending on which photo you look at, of course though, this theory is also pretty easy to debunk. The weight loss? Gucci was forced to quit drugs in prison and started working out along with cleaning up his diet. Yet, these logical explanations still weren't enough for some, who still firmly believe Gucci's behavior changed too much. Because, again, before prison, Gucci Mane was this out-of-pocket, unpredictable character. Then, after serving nearly 3 years, he came out a totally changed person. But, in reality, this is common when you serve a jail sentence. And even Gucci said so himself.
We're getting all them substances out of my body that made me able to realize, hey, listen, you got to work out. You got to eat better. So the whole thing is just about being more conscious and being more self-aware of what you're doing. Once you're self-aware about what you're doing, then you'll say, hey, listen, I'm not going to eat that.
So this is kind of trippy. So at the epicenter of the Canadian wildfires, it is showing an AQI of about 300, very unhealthy. But if we zoom out, if we go all the way over here to India, oh, no, it's not India. Where is it? Oh, yep, there it is. 472, 400. Let's see, I think we get like a top of 499. Yeah, 499. So this town in India is more polluted than the epicenter of the entire Canadian wildfire and right above the U.S. That is insane.
This is the sun. The sun is red. This is insane. Not again, man.
People need to wake up.
All right. There's a bunker with this parasite coming out of his mouth. I never saw these until about maybe 3 years ago, and now every bunker has one. They all have that coming out of their mouth.
Back to station.
Epstein, is it?
Epstein, sir. Good work. Thank you. What's wrong with board, sir?
Cat, hold this corned beef and onion sliced steak for you. Gotta eat, sir.
I'll take that to Lieutenant Cole. If he's worked up an appetite. Now, Mr. Goss.
It's from the Admiralty, sir. They've intercepted multiple German transmissions.
6G is expected to be 100 times faster than 5G. Let's talk about it. 6G is expected to launch commercially around 2030, and the projected numbers are insane. Current 5G, at its theoretical peak, delivers about 10 gigabits per second, and in practice, most people might see 100 to 200 megabits per second on their phones. 6G is projected to hit 1 terabit per second. That's 1,000 gigabits per second. At that speed, you can download an entire 4K movie in a fraction of a second. The reason why 6G can move so much data comes down to the frequencies it uses. 5G operates mostly under 40 gigahertz, but 6G is expected to use the terahertz range, anywhere from 95 gigahertz to 3 terahertz. Now, of course, higher frequencies can carry much more data, but there's a catch. Terahertz waves are easily absorbed by walls, by humans, and even by water in the air. You basically need a line of sight to a transmitter for it to work, which is why 6G will likely require way more densely packed antennas than 5G. I'm really looking forward to telling 5G GG's.
Bro, what's up with these G's, man? They got 5G, 6G, 7G, like, it's never gonna stop, bro. By the time in the future, man, they're gonna be at like, man, 500G, bro. I don't like the effects that it's saying that it might have on our bodies in the water. That's something to keep an eye on, Seekers. I saw her?
This next video right here is pretty strange.
Gopara Spookies.
Motion detected at the family room.
This woman was alerted that there was movement in her mother's house on the security camera. I guess she's like her mother's caretaker or something. At first it looks like maybe it's just a spider web, but the more you watch, this gets really, really weird.
Like a cube?
What just happened? Whatever that object is, it just went ape shit. Did you see the way that it started vibrating and the audio and everything got distorted? Now she claims that she didn't do anything to this footage, didn't add any sounds or effects. This is what was captured on the security camera. Do you think that this is some sort of spirit, interdimensional being? I don't think it's ball lightning, because in a second here you'll see she's in the living room while this object is in the living room, and she can't see it in person.
Yeah, I see it. Be right at it. Come on, Brandon, get out here. Come on. It's still in here. It's following me now.
He said, I'm out. Smart.
Have any of you seen the video coming out of Miami of the high-speed chase that took place with Melina Logan, the 27-year-old who stole a Honda Civic after taking it for a test drive and never returning it? Well, I just saw the video, and I don't know what I just witnessed, but it was the craziest high-speed chase I've ever seen. First of all, she stole the car, never returned it, so they sent out a report that she stole the car. Well, the police found her on the highway. She was going 97 miles an hour during traffic, just... Finally, 2 tractor trailers stop her and help the police stop her. Well, she's on a bridge. This girl gets out of the car, strips off butt-ass naked, jumps off the bridge into the water. So the cops weren't allowed to use force or weapons or anything like that because, well, first of all, she was butt naked, so they had no reason to use weapons on her. So she's just out in the middle of the water, jumped off the bridge, out in the middle of the water. She's treading water. They're throwing her life preserves. She won't take it. All of a sudden, an alligator shows up. Yep, you see where this is going. The alligator grabs her and starts pulling her under, and she still refuses to grab onto the life thing, so all the cops jump into the water to try to rescue her, get her back, and then they arrest her. I swear to God, Miami, Florida in general is just, it's another world.
So that is one of the wildest stories I've ever heard yet, Tigers. One of. That was crazy. So she took the car for a test drive, took it, going crazy in traffic, jumped in the water, butt naked, alligator came, and she still wasn't trying to take the life preservers or life rafts. But it sounds like they saved it at the end, man. That all happened in Miami, Florida, bro. Florida, man. The stories I keep hearing about Florida, it's crazy, bro. Some wild things go down to that place.
You mean to tell me a cell phone is not what we think? It's not a cell phone like jail, but indeed it's the cells in the body. So a cell phone is attached to the body. So when we use a cell phone, what are the cells inside of the body doing? What is cell communication? What is cell communication? When you use your phone, cell phone, it is communicating with the cells in the body. The cells in the body is communicating to something.
Found the most disturbing children's website on the internet. This is Plushie's Playground, and at first it looks like an innocent website for children. The more you explore and play games on it and watch the hidden home videos scattered throughout the website, the more you realize that something is wrong here. Also, I'm Kayla and I have a dark curiosity. Follow for the rabbit holes I go down. So the character at the center of this website is Mr. Plushie. He's a puppet that loves children and adults. The website was started by Jordan Graham, and it features puzzles that you can play to gain access to videos that teach you about who Mr. Plushie is and what happens to the children that disappear inside of his slide. It's actually a horror ARG that's being updated in real time, so there's always more to explore on the website. And I will say, I do find this website to be terrifying. I got the code that gave me access to this adults only page that features these letters you can click to type in more codes. It also gives you this live feed of a playground at night, and as you're watching, you'll see that little alerts pop up saying that there's motion being detected on one of the cameras, and then you'll see things in the backgrounds of the videos, and it's very scary. But if you like spooky and well thought out horror projects, you should definitely go play on the website. And also, as you play, you should come back here and drop off codes for people so that they can have them to go access other parts of the website.
Sounds crazy.
Did you know we're in actual real danger of losing our night skies altogether? I'm meteorologist Todd Gross, and the FCC just made the most boneheaded approval I have ever heard. They have approved Reflect Orbital Inc.'s petition to launch a satellite that's going to actually have a big space mirror attached, which will illuminate a 3-mile wide path. But they plan to launch another 50,000 of these by 2035 and rent out what they call sunshine on demand. Now, the FCC acknowledges that this would be terrible, especially for the animals, but they say it's out of their jurisdiction. That's not what they're there for. Well, then who is? We've got to get somebody in here to stop this right away, and I'm going to be vocal about it, and I hope you'll join me. Do you see any benefits to having the world lit up at night? I'm meteorologist Todd Gross. Are you in? Let me know in the comments.
No, I'm not in because, bro, they're selling sunlight, man. The most basic things, bro. Like I said, that's could greatly affect the environment, man. But I'm just scared of they're not just gonna stop there, bro. Then another company's gonna try to be like, hey, you know what? Let's find a way, bro. If they like, you know, about that movie, The Lorax, how like they were selling air, bro. I feel like if a company could do that, that would actually exist today, bro. We would actually have to pay for air to live, bro. Not just gonna stop there, man, and selling fake sunlight, bro. Another company gonna spawn up where they can sell something that's basic for us, bro, but oh, it's all about the bottom line.
This is what happens when Brandon Knox Photography brings his spirit box outside of a graveyard. Don't miss this video.
All right, this getting kind of scary, bro. All right, so look. What just happened, this is getting way too scary. Like, this is gonna make me leave. Let me tell you what's about to make me leave this area. I just got a chill down my spine too. What's happening right now is, this is why I tell y'all, the spirit talker don't lie. I don't know if y'all remember, this is for the people that live in New Orleans. There was a man who some children with a hammer in New Orleans. And it just so happened that it happened on the West Bank.
Did you hear this guy running and see this guy run by? Now, directly behind him is a wall, and behind the wall is a graveyard.
I know I'm not tripping, right?
We all have heard stories about how haunted New Orleans is.
He's here. Oh, hell no.
And as you see, the wall was directly behind him. Knowing he was the only one out there, he investigates. If you F around, you will find out. He did come here for intention, maybe not this intention.
Y'all just seen that shit?
I did.
Did he experience someone who was possibly living in this graveyard behind him? Brandon still seems a bit surprised of what just happened, because afterwards there was still no one around. He saw no one coming or going.
Now my live freezing up. It don't want me to show y'all. It don't even want me to show y'all. Look at this. Man, come on, man. The live keep freezing up. Ain't nobody out here. Look.
Empty. Both sides.
The same time that shit happened, the spirit talker said he's here.
What would you do in this situation? Unanswered Universe.
Scientists have designed a virus that makes an organism evolve more quickly. This virus causes the organism to mutate 160,000 times quicker than what it should do. And I'm not joking. Evolution normally depends on random mutations, and if those random mutations are beneficial, it gives the organism a survival advantage. But the rate of mutation is often slow, and hence evolution is slow. And scientists wanted to speed up this process by a lot. And here's how they did it. They infected bacteria with a designed virus, and the virus was designed to cause rapid mutation of the DNA in the bacteria. After the virus has rapidly mutated the DNA, the virus then bursts out of the cell, taking with it the mutant DNA. The virus that burst out of the host cell can then infect other bacteria. And those newly infected bacteria now also contain the mutant DNA. If the mutant DNA contains a survival advantage, then those infected bacteria will thrive. And this allows the bacteria to evolve at a rate much faster than they would in the wild. And what they saw as a consequence of this was really insane. After just 5 cycles, they evolved bacteria that had the ability to cope with 25 times the amount of a specific antibiotic. But it's not all fear. We can actually do something incredibly useful with this technology. The scientists were also able to evolve bacteria that got better at feeding off the breakdown products of plastic. Showing the ability to control evolution allows us to evolve organisms with incredibly useful functions. And now this technology is out there, I wonder what we should evolve them to do next.
Take one look at this and tell me chemtrails aren't real.
Is that like cloud seeding? I know that's another thing that they be doing to manipulate the weather, which is actually a crazy thing to even say.
Y'all see what's going on in Costco ever since Trump declared a state of emergency with the fertilizer? I told y'all, this is going to be happening. Check this out.
It's a Costco product getting lots of attention. It's called the Ready Wise Emergency Food Supply, but shoppers are calling it the Doomsday Bucket. Video from cookbook author Jeffrey Eisner discovering the buckets is going viral.
I guess this is for when the apocalypse hits, which could be any time now, right? Who knows?
The bucket is packed with 150 servings.
You have teriyaki rice.
The thing is called Ready Wise. Be wise and get ready. The Doomsday Bucket. And then he talks about it could happen any day now. And then the Strait of Hormuz shuts down because now we can't get our fertilizer, and now a national state of emergency has been declared of food.
Politician's cloaking device came off and he revealed who he really was. Why?
Vários ministérios da máquina pública. E ao mesmo tempo.
So he's talking? Listen to his voice.
Okay.
E ao mesmo tempo nós não vamos parar por aí. Já estão.
Whoa. Whoa.
Comentados.
It sounded a little demonic. He's drinking water to try to fix it, and it's not fixing. That was insane. I've never heard anyone's voice crack like that.
Me either.
Stay weird.
There's some things you probably didn't know, because I didn't. Brazil is by far the country that takes the most showers every 12 hours on average. This man spent 5 months in jail because no one told him his bail was just $2. The Sahara Desert sends millions of tons of dust every year across the Atlantic to the Amazon rainforest. The dust is full of nutrients like phosphorus and iron, which is what actually keeps the Amazon rainforest alive and green. A woman in 2005 named Susan Bennett spent 4 hours a day recording random phrases and sentences, not knowing the purpose. It wasn't until 2011, after a friend who had bought the new iPhone 4S told her that she was the voice of Apple's Siri assistant. A recent study says that the ideal age to get married and have a lot of babies is 26 years old. They say that people who marry at this age have the lowest divorce rates, highest marital satisfaction, and better long-term stability compared to those who marry earlier or later. They say you're mature enough to make informed decisions, but young enough to have the energy and biological advantage for childbearing.
There is absolutely nothing that can convince me that this is not a two-way mirror in the kitchen. And that's a listing photo from this property that was recently for sale in Pennsylvania. Here's another view of it from outside just for good measure. And then this is what you see as soon as you walk in. A mirror in the kitchen, not one, but two. And while I don't think this one is a two-way mirror, it still just seems unnecessary to have this in the kitchen, especially when it's facing another mirror. Isn't that bad feng shui? Now at first glance, I thought that these were drag marks, which we have seen in prior listings, but it becomes abundantly clear as you begin to look at more listing photos that this was caused from a hoarding issue, which makes it all the more upsetting when you see evidence of children living in this space. While I must admit that the pink bathtub is kind of a vibe, what's not a vibe is this room. This room fills me with an overwhelming sense of dread. I can't tell you what happened here. Maybe it was nothing, but whatever it is, I don't like it. Am I alone in this, or is anyone else feeling what I'm feeling?
Africa. How is that house worth $40,000, man? The housing market is insane, bro.
Once a new world map, calling the current one the world's longest misinformation campaign. This week, the African Union officially backed what's called the Correct Map campaign, which aims to replace our current standardized world map with a version that shows a country's true size. You see, the Mercator map intentionally distorts the sizes of continents and countries for navigation purposes. So it appears that Africa is a similar size to the US or China, when in reality it is so much bigger that the US, China, India, Japan, and much of Western Europe can all fit into Africa, and there still would be space left over. The African Union says that this over 500-year-old map is outdated, and are now calling for schools, governments, and international institutions to adopt images that reflect a country's true size. They propose the Equal Earth projection because they say this is so much more than just a map. It's about Africa's identity and pride. In fact, the head of a campaign group backing this says it's the world's longest misinformation and disinformation campaign, and it simply has to stop. But the question is, what do you think? Does size truly matter, or is the current map fine the way it is?
I don't think they're gonna try to change it.
Live every day as if it's your last, because one day it will be. That statement holds true for these two influencers that were doing a food review sitting in a restaurant when all of a sudden their lives almost changed forever. If you haven't seen the video, it is a little shocking, so viewer discretion is advised. Take a look at this. Bon appetit. Enjoying their food in the restaurant. Wait for it. SUV crashes right through the restaurant where they're recording their food review. Just look at that in slow motion, how dramatic and scary that had to be for both. Thank goodness the two of them walked away with just minor injuries. It could have been the end for both. Nina Unrated and Patrick Blackwood are known for their food reviews all over social media. They're two incredibly great people, and we are grateful that they're both still with us today. This is the moment right here that possibly could have changed their lives forever. As I said at the beginning of this video, live every day as if it's your last, because one day it will be. And we are grateful that these two are with us today to give us another food review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Gotta live it up, man. You never know.
How you feel about this now abandoned indoor water park that had a giant T-Rex in it in Scotland, by the way. Like, just knowing that this water park is still there, but abandoned, probably completely closed off to the public, in the complete darkness, possibly still with water in it, who knows, with this giant T-Rex in it. Also, why does it have, like, the B word in its mouth? The red stuff. What? Oh my goodness, I just noticed that. There's also this guy there.
It's a dragon.
For some reason. That is equally horrifying. The shape of it looks like a pipe. I don't much care for him and his creepy teeth. It was called the Time Capsule, and here's it when it was, like, going, and once again, in Scotland, like this, there's a wave pool back here, so there's the ones with the grates, and oh my goodness. Also, this looks like something straight out of the back rooms. I don't like this whatsoever. Who wants to go on the launch pad of doom? They also had a giant water slide Ussie in there. Why? More backrooms coated area. The fact that this is all abandoned now is just sickening. But especially that T-Rex. Imagine going down this little slide and just being in front of this T-Rex in water. Why would they do this?
Did you go to that part?
I was married. I had a poor dog married. But you sweet upon the heat of a bicycle field.
Or should I pop out right there?
I don't think y'all understand. You cannot fucking make this shit up, y'all. We now have fucking squirrels with warts. Oozing warts. Oozing warts. They're calling them zombie squirrels. So we just had fucking rabbits with horns or tentacles growing out their face, their head. Now we got zombie squirrels? Look at this shit. They're calling this disease fibromatosis that squirrels have. Once again, y'all, I have never heard of this shit. I've never seen no fucking squirrel having this shit on their skin either. And I don't want to see it. Imagine you in your backyard and you just see an army of squirrels with this on their body running at you and shit. And the fucking Jones just start popping and oozing out shit. What is you doing? I know what I'm doing. Grabbing that motherfucking... Once again, y'all, wildlife experts said you shouldn't be concerned about this stuff. It doesn't spread to your animals or to you or to anybody you know. And once again, when they say that shit, I still be alarmed like, you saying it, but what if it do spread to me? Now I got big ass warts all over my body, nigga. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. Is this new to you? Have you heard about this before? Let me know. And if you seen this in your backyard, what are you doing? And if you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you.
It is literally going to disappear in 2 days' time. If you didn't get a chance to see the meteor shower that's extremely rare, then make sure you watch this and share this with someone. This is actually even rarer, and it will not happen again until 2027 or 2028.
Okay.
This is known as the Black Moon, and we will literally be getting a Black Moon. Although this sounds scary, it's not, and it will be a chance for you to see some pretty insane things if the sky is clear. This is the third new moon of the season, which actually makes it a black moon, which is very rare. As I say, it's estimated to happen again in 2028 or 2027. It happens when it's in the new moon phase, as I say, and the illuminated side is actually facing away from Earth, meaning it's completely invisible to us. So wherever you are, you won't even be able to see the moon. It will just vanish, and you'll probably look up and go, what the hell, even if it's a clear night. Although you won't actually see anything, you're going to be able to see something else. With no light source, the sky will be so dark, making it a perfect opportunity to see the stars, stargaze, see comets passing, whatever else is up there. You don't often get a chance like this, so if you can get out of a city to somewhere with little light pollution, you're going to see some pretty crazy things.
What's going on these days? This kid just admitted to killing his mother while she was asleep because she took his phone away. To be honest, this isn't even a kid. This is a grown man. He's 21 years old, got mad at his mother that she took his phone, killed her. Now he's gonna spend 30 years behind bars because of this. He was 16 years old at the time when he came home from a night shift and shot his mom, you know. Instead of giving the phone back, she went upstairs and she just went to sleep, you know, she took the phone away, whatever. But instead of sneaking in the room and getting a firearm and stuff like that and shooting your mom, why don't you just sneak in the room and grab the phone and just go downstairs? That would have solved two issues right there. You know, he wouldn't be going to jail and he would have had his phone back. He then called his girlfriend to say he found his mom covered in blood in the bed, you know, acting like he didn't do it. You know, the girlfriend's dad came over, saw that she was dead, and then the guy's stories just did not match up whatsoever. Eventually, he was just like, screw it, you know, he admitted to killing her after a while. Because he was a juvenile, too, at the time, that's why he probably didn't get a life sentence or, like, you know, the death penalty if they have that where they're from in Tennessee. But this is such a senseless case.
Here's some over a phone, really?
Mandela Effect, Part 4. Do you remember sitting at your TV as a kid and seeing this come on?
Nah, you unk status if you did, though. Looney Tunes, the OG.
Most people will recall this being spelled like this. However, this was never the case. It was always spelled as tunes, not tunes.
If you want or plan on buying Great Value shrimp, you better think twice about it. So the FDA is warning the public not to eat, serve, or sell Walmart's Great Value shrimp. And they're telling you this because it got contaminated with a radioactive substance. You heard what I just said? Walmart could be possibly selling radioactive shrimp. So apparently they detected these radioactive shrimp before they crossed the border. And if you didn't know, they were coming from an Indonesian distributor. And what they're saying this means is that none of these radioactive shrimp made it across the border. Or did they? But hear this out. This shit is becoming real convenient. First you have radioactive bees. Now you have radioactive shrimp. Now they're saying that all products are going to be banned from coming into the United States from this company. But what company are they talking about? Are they talking about Great Value? Or are they talking about the Indonesian company that they was getting the shrimp from? Think about it as this. Great Value is a cheap option. People usually like to get the cheap option. Is this the only time we're going to have to worry about a situation like this? Radioactive shrimp? What's next? I'm out.
He's spitting, bro. Everybody, man, when it comes to that price range, bro, they were always going to go for the cheaper option. I wouldn't eat freaking buy seafood from freaking Walmart like that anyway. That's just not me, man. But when you got radioactive shrimp, radioactive freaking hornets, man, what's going on this year, bro? There's a lot of radioactive activity.
Ever heard of Skinny Bob?
This is scary. It sounds scary.
It's a little spooky. Skinny Bob was this random video posted by this channel, Ivan0135 on YouTube. And this video was posted 11 years ago. But in this video, a collection of videos from 1942 to 1969 of interviewing an alien. The crazy thing about this Ivan0135 dude, never monetized the videos, never came out and said who it was. So you look at that and you think that does kind of look like it'd be CGI or something, right?
Yeah.
It's been tested by studios and it has not been discredited yet.
Ever?
They said the way that it was filmed, because it was filmed on like one of those old cameras.
Yeah.
They said it was completely accurate with an old camera. The theories are that it was a real government film. Some believe that it's connected to the Majestic 12 group. That's basically what we would call the Men in Black now.
Okay.
But it's a group of like different
division of that, the CIA.
Government,
That just focuses on that.
Some believe that was actually from the KGB too. No one's taking credit for it either.
Maybe that was the whole thing. It's like, I can't put my name on this, but I can put it out.
It's insane.
Now, of course, Google will tell you these inventors were nothing but con men, liars, frauds, or just scientists with great ideas who didn't know any better. It will also tell you zero-point energy is impossible, and anyone who stands up for it or even talks about it is attacked or shamed for spreading misinformation. Google debunkers. Compliant NPCs who believe they can irrefutably debunk any extreme claim with a 5-second Google search truly are the downfall of society. The modern-day version of Vladimir Lenin's useful idiot. Google debunkers. Love you guys. You're not allowed to talk like that. You present your theories as if they are fact.
Morbid Facts, Part 702. Carlos Happy Rodriguez was ejected through a windshield in a drug-fueled crash as a teenager, smashing his skull so badly that surgeons had to remove the entire upper half of it, leaving his brain covered only by skin. Incredibly, he survived without any severe cognitive damage, but went on to rack up arrests for drugs, arson, and other crimes, his caved-in head becoming one of the internet's most infamous mugshots. Here's a photo of tobacco company CEOs declaring under oath that nicotine is not addictive. The moment became infamous when internal documents later revealed that tobacco executives had known for decades about nicotine's highly addictive properties and had even manipulated nicotine levels in cigarettes to enhance dependency. In 18th century Europe, the wealthy often devoured sugar with no real dental care, rotting their teeth into black stumps that often fell out. To keep up appearances, they wore dentures, not wooden as legend claims, but often filled with real human teeth. These were bought from the poor, pulled from slaves or prisoners, or scavenged from battlefields, sometimes still bloody from fallen soldiers. With no concept of sterilization, they could carry infections, even syphilis, into the wearer's mouth. In advanced cases, the disease could slowly eat away at the face, collapsing the nose and leaving a grotesque hollow mask where features used to be.
So they
Your nicotine fact was insane.
Me taking the natural process away, I don't too much like that. What make this more interesting is look who's behind this project. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this video in the comments on what y'all think about them just making food poof out of thin air from a machine. In the comments, like or follow for more wisdom, and stay tuned.
People are now mad at Jenna Ortega after what she just said on the newest red carpet for Wednesday Season 2, and people are not happy with Jenna's response. So after Jenna Ortega was at a Wednesday red carpet in South Korea, after people are saying that Jenna Ortega was giving an interviewer a hard time, and even more worse, so this is all coming after some strange behavior that Jenna has been doing on the other Wednesday red carpets. They're saying that she is being shy one moment, then happy the next, as well as other moments where she has been crashing out on fans that have been asking for autographs, with a lot of people saying that there seems to be something wrong and that all of this drama in South Korea makes everything so much more worser. And this is where it gets even more insaner. So what happened is that on the red carpet in South Korea, where a magician was doing a magic trick to Jenna Ortega, the magician asked her what kind of card that Jenna Ortega had, and her response was spade. And seemingly the magician asked her if she could repeat what she said, and then Jenna was seemingly not happy that she had to repeat herself, and the way that she said spade the second time, should people really be mad over this?
So this guy drags a magnet across sand on a beach and picks up a bunch of heavy metals, and you'll actually see him melt down these metals. And it's interesting what you see at the end here. Perhaps aluminum, you know, something that they admit that they're spraying in the skies. Look at this, he melts it, takes some water. Where do you think this is coming from, guys? Where do you think these heavy metals are coming from?
3D printed steak is here. Let me show you this, and after I do, I'll tell you why it's not so great.
A juicy, sizzling steak made by computer. While obtaining regular meat is a process that's been taking place for millennia, cow, butcher, beef, Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is formed into steak-like shapes using a 3D printer.
Our goal is to become the largest meat company in the world just by harnessing technology instead of animals.
Meat substitutes are not new. But unlike the soy-based crumbles that mimic ground beef, Redefined Meat's product is designed to act, taste, and cut with happy.
The texture feels right. Even the smell smells like the real thing. Really authentic for me.
Now, I'm not going to talk about that company at all. But if somebody else is making 3D printed meat, how can we possibly know what's really in it? Especially if it tastes like the real thing. There's this stuff called microplastics that's become so prevalent from all the stuff that people have made with plastics that it's being found in human tissue. Who's to say some company making 3D printed meat couldn't accidentally put some of that in there? Look, I'm gonna keep eating the way I do, cause I'm old, fat, and the damage is done for me. But to the younger people out there, I say, please be cautious. Cause after stories like this, you never know what you're really eating. Shabadobushkis!
Animal Attacks Part 7, the dude who was attacked by a swarm of raging bees. 23-year-old Alex Bechler and a friend were on a hike in Usuri Mountain Park in Arizona when suddenly, without provoke, a swarm of bees suddenly attacked them. The aggressive swarm of bees stung Alex more than 1,000 times. His friend was able to flee and hide in a nearby bathroom. Several people tried to help Alex as he lay on the ground swarmed with these bees, but every time the bees would drive the people away. A sheriff finally used a UTV to get close enough to him, and still covered in bees, he grabbed Alex and fled with the bees pursuing. Once at the hospital, Alex was pronounced dead.
Man.
Creepy videos that you shouldn't watch at night, but you're going to anyway. Part 10. I just held up 5. What the fuck? And for my dark web lovers, you will love this video, because this one actually surfaced on the dark web. Also, I might be going on a TV show. I got contacted by a company to make a TV show on Discovery Channel, pretty much about dark web and creepy videos, so thank you guys. So make sure to show some love so we can get him to see it. I just like my lights out. Alright, the video has since been deleted, but people actually downloaded it, so I'm just on YouTube. So this is in binary code. If anybody wants to decode that, please let me know. This video is pretty scary, so let's watch. What the fuck?
What's he wearing?
Oh, hell no. Here's the full binary code, so just save the video. So if you guys need help sleeping at night, click the link in my bio. And once you click the link, click on Get a Peaceful Sleep, and it's an app, download it, and you will get the most peaceful sleep of your life.
I don't know what the hell.
Scary facts that will blow your mind. Part 2. The Hoia Baciu Forest is considered the most haunted forest in all of Romania. Hundreds of people have gone missing within these woods, among other things like screams, laughter, babies crying, people being attacked by unseen paranormal forces, strange balls of light, UFOs, and in the very center of the forest lies a clearing where no plant life will grow. It is believed that this spot is a portal to another dimension. What do you think? Like and follow for more.
They need to freaking shut down that whole forest, man. You hear them screaming laughter, bro. That whole spot, where that little circus spot where it's just like nothing else is going on. I feel like that's just like a portal, man, with some bad energy around there. Close it down.
Interesting people you've never heard of. This fisherman survived 6 hours in freezing water after his ship sank. He then walked near lava fields for 3 hours barefoot, and when he returned to safety, there were no signs of hypothermia, even though he was just wearing a shirt and jeans. Frank Hart was the first black athlete on a sports card back in 1880. This environmental activist climbed an over 1,000-year-old tree and didn't come back down for over 2 years. This farm boy from Idaho came up with the idea for an electronic television while he was plowing a field at 14 years old. This Italian banker over a 7-year period diverted over €1 million to his poorer clients from the wealthier clients so that they could qualify for loans. He made no profit and avoided jail in 2018 due to a plea bargain. This physician proved that yellow fever could be transmitted through a mosquito bite and unfortunately passed away from that mosquito bite just 17 days later.
He was dedicated to show the truth, man. He's a seeker of the truth for real.
This is known as the doll that aged. The doll used to look like this and was played with by a couple of kids, but then they started to grow up, so the doll was just locked away in the attic for like 14 years. So then as the parents went up to the attic to like clean it out, they were shocked to find the doll look like this.
How the hell was the doll aging?
Disturbing things Disneyland doesn't want you to know. A few years ago in Disney World, Florida, a little boy was snatched by a crocodile, and his remains were found a few hours later in a lake next to the park. Apparently the kid was just next to the water when the crocodile ate him up. Next, did you know that Disneyland has only closed 3 times throughout history? They were when JFK was shot, after a massive earthquake in 1994, so let's just say they count on keeping their parks open for as long as possible. And finally, some rumors say that the skulls on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride are actually real human skulls. And if that's real, that is pretty messed up.
Fun fact, never been in Disney World ever.
Did you guys hear what
34-year-old teacher that was essaying a 13-year-old student, and it turns out that they possibly have a 5-year-old child together. I'm at the point where this stuff doesn't even surprise me anymore because it's been happening so often lately. This woman's name is Laura Karen, and she was a 5th grade teacher in Middle Township Elementary School in New Jersey. So this whole thing started when Laura became the victim's teacher in the 5th grade. Laura and the victim's mother became friends, got to know each other, and she offered to take care of her kids. The victim, who was 11 years old at the time, was staying at Laura's house with his siblings regularly. Now, the kids went from going to Laura's house every day to then actually staying there permanently. It was said the kids did not go home anymore, and they basically lived in Laura's house from 2016 to 2020. During that time, the 11-year-old was being essayed by Laura, and allegedly they have a child together. Then fast forward a few years later, the victim's father saw a photo of Laura's child on Facebook, and he said, "This kid looks a lot like my son." He called police and an investigation began, and Laura was arrested, but they're still waiting on the DNA results. Now, when the siblings were asked if they saw anything weird going on in the house, they said that Laura and their brother slept in her bed every single night. And not only that, but apparently they also showered together, and they caught Laura essaying him one night. The siblings also said that when this baby was born, they knew that this was their brother's child, but they were told not to say anything because then Laura would get in trouble. And you guys won't believe this, but Laura was just released from jail until her next court date. This should be a wake-up call to people who leave their kids with literally just anyone. A lot of people believe that just because someone's a teacher, you can fully trust them, but what you may not know is that a lot of predators get positions that revolve around children just so that it's easier to get away with this kind of stuff.
Interesting people you've never
Can't trust anybody.
This dude ran out of gas in rural Maine in 1986 and then spent the next 27 years living isolated in the woods. This man was killed on a street in Brooklyn just before midnight on 9/11/2001, making him the sole victim of murders on that day because New York does not count the 9/11 attacks in its crime statistics, and his murder remains unsolved. This convicted Japanese war criminal recreated his prison cell at home because he believed that his 10-year sentence was too short, and he stayed there till he passed away. This professional swimmer retired due to lung complications after saving 20 people from debris-filled waters. Japan welcomed their first female fighter pilot in 2018 after she was inspired by Top Gun as a child. This basketball player slammed his head into a concrete post after he was frustrated getting his 5th foul and ultimately was never able to walk again.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your day. Firstly, you know these vacuum toilets that are most commonly used on planes and cruise ships? Well, there have been many reports of them sucking the rectum out of people when they flush. Next, this is just disappointing. 1 in 4 Americans actually believe that the sun rotates around the earth. Now, studies show that the average person will wait 5 months of their lifetime for red lights to turn green. You know when you're watching a movie or TV show and you hear these laugh tracks in the background? Well, most of them were recorded in the 50s, so you're hearing dead people laugh. This will ruin your childhood. The Red Power Ranger, Ricardo Medina, pleaded guilty to killing his roommate with a sword. Finally, you are now closer to death than you were when you started this video.
You want a Power Rangers for us, man. Who watched that when you was a kid, bro? Man, what's up with these actors, bro? It's like, once they lose their gig, it's over.
Disney princesses' gloves. Take a look at all the Disney princesses. Some are wearing gloves, some aren't. You'll notice that all the ones who aren't wearing gloves are commoners who married into royalty. Boo's real name in Monsters, Inc. is Mary. And this is the same as the young girl who voices Boo. Her name is Mary Gibbs. And her name is only visible when she's in their apartment and they're making drawings and her name is on the paper. Bambi only uses 72 unique words throughout the entire film. And in total, there are only about 900 words spoken throughout the entire thing as well. To get Robin Williams to play the genie in Aladdin, animators created a sequence of the genie performing Robin Williams stand-up routines. And this was one of the ways they pulled in Robin Williams for this part. Simba literally means lion. In Swahili, Simba directly translates to lion.
I never do that. What the hell? So his name is his name.
Only kids can hear this sound. So scientists discovered a sound they believe only kids can hear. The name of the sound is mosquito tone and it is at a frequency of 17 kilohertz. This is the sound. Let me know if you can hear it.
In 3, 2, 1.
So did you hear the sound? Sophomore?
Did Doja Cat sell her soul and now she's in the Illuminati? She recently celebrated her 27th birthday with the Illuminati-themed party, and they say when you sell your soul, like the devil takes something from you. Watch this clip, it's weird. That clip is not from her birthday party, but basically she's making all these weird faces. We know her music is a little symbolic, but just watch this other clip of her looking like she's glitching, she's glaring off into space, it's weird.
Yo, check out Doja Cat. Tell me she on timeout. Looks like she just... Yo, what happened to her? She glitched. Yo, she glitched.
Celebrities are kind of weird, like we've seen Cardi B space out in the middle of interviews, but when you're winning an award, that seems like a time when you shouldn't be like spacey. What do you guys think about this? Do you think she sold her soul?
Man, people in the industry, you know, some like I said, her music is like symbolic, so, but to say that she had a birthday party and that was the theme, I don't know if that's just like trying to be hidden in plain sight, or she's just trying to, you know, like, try to, you know, reflect that narrative back and just trying to, you know, be like, oh, it's just a party. It's everywhere, man.
Times when jokes backfired big time. In 2006, the High-End Water Fiji ran an ad campaign jokingly saying the label says Fiji because it's not bottled in Cleveland. Well, the city of Cleveland, Ohio saw this and were offended because what did they ever do to deserve this? So rightfully, the city of Cleveland tested their tap water and found that it was actually cleaner and tastier than Fiji water. Next, several years ago, a California man jokingly got a personalized license plate that read no, and thought it would trick the database so whenever he got a ticket, it would register as no, meaning nothing. Well, the problem with that is, anytime there was an error on anyone else's license plate, they assigned it to him. He got $12,000 in fines.
Try to trick the system, ain't work.
This post made me think, what animal am I glad that I don't have to deal with? I'm cool with most animals, but I think I draw the line at bears, especially grizzly bears. And so the idea of the giant, short-faced bear is something I definitely find frightening. These were like grizzly bears, but much bigger. These were found in the Americas and went extinct towards the end of the last ice age. So around 12,000 years ago. I don't know what it is about bears, but there's something about them that freaks me out more than any other animal. I'm not really sure why. Maybe one of my ancestors got chomped. As always, come talk on my Discord. You could even suggest content. Though the stickers are getting a little questionable. Info on my Discord in pinned.
Which animals are y'all glad that went extinct? Maybe the dinos for me. Could you guys imagine dinosaurs roaming the earth right now? Especially with the T-Rex. Nah.
Has anybody ever told you the terrifying true story of Snow White? I'm sure by now we all know the Disney version, but the Brothers Grimm version, which came before the Disney version, is actually much darker. In this version, the evil queen orders the huntsman to take Snow White into the woods, kill her, and bring back her liver and lungs for the queen to eat. Which is obviously very disturbing, but there's actually more to the story. Later in the story, the prince and Snow White are getting married, and they invite all the royalty in the land. The evil queen shows up, unknowing it was her stepdaughter's wedding. When she arrives, she's forced to step into burning hot iron shoes brought from the fireplace, and then she has to dance until she dies. And that's her punishment for trying to go after Snow White. I don't really feel bad for her, but gosh, I mean, this version is terrifying.
What's something small that completely changed the course of history? I'll go first. If not for a wobbly chair, we probably wouldn't have Social Security today. Giuseppe Zangara was an Italian immigrant who came to America in the 1920s for a better life. But he had a condition with his gallbladder that caused him immense pain and made him often unable to work. At the height of the Great Depression, there is a political rally near where Giuseppe lives in Miami. Giuseppe is a desperate man, and he was also a marksman in the Italian army. However, he was also only 5 feet tall, so he needed needs to stand on a wobbly metal chair in order to see over the crowd and get a good aim at President-elect Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Giuseppe fires 5 shots, but because the chair is wobbly, he hits the mayor of Miami instead of FDR. This was FDR's vice president at the time, John Nance Carter, a conservative Democrat from Texas who opposed New Deal policies like Social Security. And if it weren't for a wobbly chair, he would have been president instead of FDR.
Whoa. Change the course of history.
What is the
She needs
craziest thing
justice.
someone's confessed to on their deathbed? Well, a deathbed confession made this year solved a 20-year-old cold case. And this is coming from the Heart Starts Pounding podcast episode that's all about cold cases that were solved this year. So this year in West Virginia, a man named Larry Webb was dying. And before he died, he called a nurse over and said he needed to get it off his chest that he killed a woman and her daughter back in 2000. It turns out that back then, a woman named Susan Carter and her 10-year-old daughter Alex were living with Larry while Susan was in a custody battle with Alex's father. And one day they just disappeared, but because they were together when they disappeared, police assumed that Susan just ran away with her daughter. But Larry confirmed that that's not what happened. The story he gave on his deathbed is that one day he came home to see that Susan was stealing money from him, and so he shot her. And then panicking, he wanted to get rid of all the witnesses, and that included Alex, her daughter. And to me, the craziest thing in all of this is that Larry had really bad dementia, so when he gave this confession, they weren't really convinced that it was true. But the day after he died, both of their remains were found in his backyard. If you want to hear more on that story and other cold cases that were solved this year, check out the Cold Cases That Were Solved This Year episode of the Heart Starts Pounding podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
When it's the end, man. When the end is near, people, that's when they want to tell the truth, I guess, you know. Get it off their chest. I'm burnt.
The world's most dangerous conspiracy theories. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Some of these theories say once you learn the truth, there's no return. For this series, we're going to be picking some from each category until we reach Tier 10, the point of no return. Tier 10 is so scary that some people are saying that I will die before I even reach Tier 10. Okay, Tier 1. Today we're going to be talking about cryptozoology. Cryptozoology is defined as the search for animals whose existence is disputed. For example, Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and the Loch Ness Monster. For this one, I want to talk about the Ningen. The Ningen is based in Japan. It's an aquatic humanoid creature that can be larger than a whale but also mutate into a human. I know what you're thinking. No way this is real. I thought the same thing until I saw this. In 2007, a company published a magazine with Ningens on the cover. The magazines were completely destroyed with no trace, but I found the PDF file of what it looked like. It gets even weirder. Early February 2013, a huge mysterious object washes ashore that makes locals freak out. 3 days later, the website was taken down without a trace. Doing some more research, I found out that people from Japan created a forum page talking about all of the government corruption that was happening. They then began to speak on the Ningen, and somebody says that he was on the research ship when they captured it on camera, and then government officials raided the boat and even supposedly killing some of the people. 3 days later, the forum page was taken down without a trace, but I found it once again, and take a look at one of the videos somebody posted. So what do you think? Is this Ningen just some myth, or is the government hiding something much darker? This was only Tier 1. Make sure to follow to see Tier 2 because we have a lot more to cover.
Did you know
some truth to that?
Forks were used in ancient China, which were then replaced by chopsticks. It has rained more in Los Angeles this year than in Seattle. Your red blood cells only live about 120 days. Coke had 3 different opportunities 100 years ago to buy Pepsi and refused every single time. Christmas lights used to be a status symbol because they would often be rented instead of bought because they were so expensive. This river in the Amazon has boiling water. Australia has the highest skin cancer rate in the world. Angel Falls in Venezuela is the highest uninterrupted waterfall in the world. The Eiffel Tower can be taller by about 15 centimeters in the summer due to the increased temperatures expanding the metal. It only took Lady Gaga 10 minutes each to write Poker Face, Born This Way, and Just Dance. The Cubs 2016 World Series ring includes an engraving of the Billy Goat that was refused entry in the 1945 World Series, which caused the owner to lay a curse on the team.
One of my favorite Saw traditions is back. For those who don't know, for every Saw movie that comes out, they have a Saw blood drive. It's a partnership with the Red Cross. They did it for the very first Saw movie as a way to promote the film. If you come and give us some blood, we give you free tickets to see the movie. But the original filmmakers saw how successful this was. They saw how many people came out to donate blood, and they decided they wanted to do it again, but just to mostly help people than anything. And they did this for the Saw movies 1 through 8. And by the time Saw 8, aka Jigsaw, finished its promotional campaign, over 360,000 total lives have been saved because of the Saw franchise. I did make a video talking about this back in 2021. Wow, the difference a few years makes. They had to skip over the blood drive for Spiral, I'm assuming because of COVID-related reasons, but now it's back for Saw X, and the posters look so good. They're also advertising all blood types are accepted from all.
You did not learn in school. Two brothers who used to live in Chernobyl went back 30 years later and found their toy car sitting in the exact same spot they left it. The red circle in this picture is allegedly 6-year-old Teddy Roosevelt watching Abraham Lincoln's funeral procession going through Union Square in New York City in 1865. It's fully known that this home belonged to Teddy Roosevelt's father Cornelius, and 36 years later, Theodore Roosevelt would also become president. This is a picture from 2003 of US soldiers playing Xbox in Saddam Hussein's palace. And this is a picture of a Russian soldier burning useless Soviet banknotes for warmth back in 1995. Princess Diana would wear the same gym outfit every day to outsmart the paparazzi so that the photos would have no value, and honestly, I see a lot of celebrities doing this today, and I think she probably started it. This was a traffic jam at the Brandenburg Gate as people moved east and west after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989.
Taking the mega church down the road not help with baby formula, but put on big shows like this. Santa Claus is literally flying across the arena. Somebody make it make sense.
Something is definitely going on with TikTok. And if you're like myself and many others on the app that have opened it since the holiday, you've noticed that you've been seeing old videos and your FYP seems to be all over the place. And I'm talking about videos that you've liked, commented on, and even saw months ago. There is a lot of speculation out there as to why. Let's dive in. And for number one, keep it in the back of your mind. They claim now that they've sold TikTok officially. And there are a lot of people making alleged allegations that this is all due to the fact of the individuals that they sold TikTok to. And there are also a lot of alleged videos floating around all over TikTok where people are claiming that something occurred in December that they don't want us to remember, or that something is going to occur that they don't want us to see. And the alleged allegation is that's why you're seeing the same videos over and over again on your FYP. So if you think about this and keep it in the back of your mind, one of the best ways, if you wanted to do those alleged allegations, would be to do what? Switch up the algorithm, switch up the FYP. Why do I say that? Because think about it. You're on this thing daily, and you know what you saw, you know what you like, you even know some of the videos that you favor. And then when you start seeing the same thing over and over again, it kind of puts a little block as to what's actually going on. Or this could also be the fact of them doing the changeover, and they're resetting or rebooting the algorithm altogether. So this could be, once again, like I went and said earlier in this video, they have sold TikTok. It could be the new owners just kind of switching things up. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
As he drove, the car's AI scanned his face and flashed red, warning him to wake up. He was confused because he wasn't sleeping and tried sitting up straighter to look less tired. But nothing worked until he forced his eyes to open super wide. When he let them go back to normal, the alarm rang again, going off 20 times during the trip. You see, the AI was designed to beep whenever it couldn't see the iris. But the man naturally had heavy eye folds, which are when the eyelid's skin and fat overlap near the nose, forming a smooth flap that covers part of his iris, making the AI think he was sleeping.
Need to know. That's diabolical, man. What the hell? They need to fix that, bro. Imagine driving down the road, man, keep saying wake up, bro. How if we could have shut down his whole damn car? You know, AI, bro. It's not a perfect product. They need to fix that expeditiously, bro.
if I'm the only one absolutely terrified of this animatronic. I saw the new Avatar movie the other day, which, by the way, way too many whales for me. But this animatronic is absolutely horrifying. Actual life-size animatronic of the Avatar in water, and it's like an umbilical cord situation. And this is in the queue for the Avatar ride. Look at it twitch. Look at it twitch. It's like a newborn. It's like a fetus in utero. Look, it even has a freaking umbilical cord. That's so creepy. Which, by the way, the size difference between humans and Avatar. Yeah, I hate that. But this dude is 9 feet tall, and he's laying long ways in this giant tube, like, twitching. And I just imagine being the person that has to shut out the lights at this part of the ride at nighttime. And oh my God, could you imagine being in the dark with this thing? Like, this photo in particular just heebies my jeebies something fierce. It gives off such a dark and sinister vibe. Like, I'm so scared that thing is going to break through the glass and get me. It's not Jake Sully. Otherwise, I would say he can get me. This is, like, undeniably terrifying. Am I the only one scared of this? Please let me know. Like, look, it has the little umbilical cord. Like, ugh, the twitches is the thing that freaks me out the most. Let me know how we're feeling about this thing. And did you see the new Avatar movie? How did you like it? I thought it was better than the second one, but nothing can top the first one. I love the first one.
So do y'all see that there's been an investigation launched about, get this, hunting humans, a game where elites will hunt humans, and they called them cyber safaris, but instead of it actually being hunting animals, they were hunting humans, and they would set these bases up in Italy, kind of like this movie, in a different country in the middle of nowhere, where they would set up these bases where rich people would watch and go and hunt regular human beings like you and I for fun. And in 1997, this is when this allegedly happened, which means it's probably been happening for like ever now, right? You've heard about these types of games where rich people will hunt regular people like us, but it's even weirder because this is not a new tradition. This is not a new thing. This used to happen back in the Coliseum games, where they would literally put random people like you and I in the middle of the Coliseum and have them fight with all types of crazy beasts, like lions and bears, and also other like Nephilim beings and things like that. So this is not new to humanity. Humanity has been doing weird things like this, and the elite has been controlling and operating things like this forever. This has always been going around, but y'all search it up. It's called the Cyber Safari, Italy, 1997, and they're doing an investigation, full-on launch, about how they hunted human beings. It is insane.
Should I go down that rabbit hole, bro? It's giving off like some damn Hunger Game vibes, bro. You know, people just watching other people go at it, man. And then Trump earlier this year, like, he introduced the Trump game. It's not like, obviously it's not to the extent of the Hunger Games, but it's like people from, he said, representing each country going to like a sporting event or something like that. I don't know, man. I just heard about it, but bro, that was scary, man. Just what it kind of represents of what that dark path of, if somebody turns that to something else, man.
Now, if you're anything like me, you might be wondering, what is that? Supposedly, what you're looking at is called a Pocong, and it's incredibly creepy. The Pocong is a ghostly figure with deep roots in Indonesian and Malaysian folklore, and it's one of the most unsettling spirits in Southeast Asian mythology. Here's the backstory. In traditional burial practices, the deceased are meant to be wrapped tightly in a white shroud or cloth that covers their entire body. That cloth is then tied off at the head and feet, and then wrapped snugly around the rest of them. But here's where things get eerie. If those ties at the head or feet aren't undone before burial, folklore says the spirit cannot leave the shroud peacefully, and that is when the Pocong appears. According to legend, the Pocong rises from its grave seeking help. It wants someone to untie the knots that bind it. And because it's wrapped so tightly with its feet bound together, it can't walk like a normal person. No, instead it hops, and that's exactly what you're seeing in that video. And it doesn't stop there, because if you let the Pocong get close enough, you'll get to see the pale, decaying face of the deceased with its empty, hollowed out eye sockets staring right back at you. There's something about the way it moves that's very unnerving, and if I saw that coming toward me and didn't immediately drop dead of a heart attack, I would probably have the same reaction as the guy in the video.
So I'm guessing it's over for David. According to multiple reports, prosecutors are finna get this man for the murder. of Celeste Rivera. And it's crazy because people like us knew all along that this man did it. You got the songs, you got what he said, everything. All the videos with him playing his shoes, like everything was sus. I don't know what took them so long to figure out that this man did it or had something to do with it. All you gotta do is put two and two together. It's common sense. His vehicle, she's cut up in his shit. Like, come on, y'all. Boo. Netflix might as well go ahead and make a goddamn movie out of this because this shit finna be crazy. Y'all think all the shit leading up to it was crazy? Like all the videos, people trying to put pieces together and shit? It's gonna be even crazier in court. I'm trying to tell you, niggas gonna be like, they gonna go so deep into this man's life. This man literally said he liked watching gore. He liked watching people get their cut off. That's mental. This man was mental, y'all. I just gotta know leading up to it, like, what made this man do this? Y'all stay tuned.
What the hell did NASA just film on live stream, y'all? It seems like these UFO sightings are getting stranger and stranger. With 3A Atlas out there and people keep talking about it, we might actually get cooked. You know, there's a man who actually said there's a room with a portal in it and we've been making contact with 38 Atlas and exchanging information. Bro's out here admitting to actually having press conferences and meetings with aliens. We got the mainstream media actually coming out and saying their aliens are real and we found them. They're out here admitting that Area 51 was real after years of saying it's not real. They've been telling us that aliens and UFOs were fake for years and calling us conspiracy theorists and crazy. And now they're actually admitting to it that it's real. I don't know, y'all. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this.
Days of YouTubers not being considered real journalists are long gone. Because what's just happened today in the Minnesota fraud scandal is wild. So earlier this month, as reported by the Associated Press, federal prosecutors said that half of the $18 billion in federal funds that was given to 14 different Minnesota-run programs, we're talking disability care, addiction treatment centers, food for the underprivileged, childcare, etc. They believe that half of that may have been stolen. They said
the magnitude of the fraud in Minnesota cannot be overstated. Staggering amounts of money could have been lost.
But for the American taxpayers, those were just words. That is until a 23-year-old YouTuber, Nick Shirley, posted a video that for millions of people suddenly made it feel real. Nick went to multiple daycare centers in the region which he claimed had taken millions in state funding to look after hundreds of children. But when he entered, they were deserted. No children were found. Now, not only did this post go instantly viral, it got 116 million views on X and 1.9 million views on YouTube, but it was also seen and shared by huge political figures on the right, including Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. Even the U.S. Attorney General acknowledged Nick's video on X, saying that 98 individuals, 85 of which are Somali, have been charged in this fraud investigation. But today, it's gone even further because the DHS is now on the ground in Minneapolis going door to door at suspected fraud sites, even telling CNN that this was triggered in part because of Nick's video.
I just bought some chicken.
What is that?
It's a nail.
What?
And I'm cutting up chicken to make some Alfredo. And you guys, this is in the chicken.
No.
I'm done. Like, I want to throw, and I have 2 packs of chicken.
Are you kidding me?
Throw it away.
What the hell was that in the chicken? Could that be what they're putting in the chicken? Because that looks like chicken breast, right? Could that be the reason why guys are growing? I don't know, guys. Something to think about. Somebody else said that, right? But what was that? Could it be something that starts with the letter H? Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purpose only. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who that lady is, and maybe she put that in the chicken. Shut up! Listen. Back in the days, guys didn't have this. But ever since we started eating, you know what I mean? This started to develop. Shut up! Listen. Something to think about. This is what people are saying. I'm not saying that at all. But it makes you think, guys, how can somebody forget that that was in the chicken? You know why? Because it wasn't in the chicken. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game. I ain't got you. No what time. Shut up! But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever go to the store to buy chicken and I see something like that in the chicken, I'm going to wish I just stopped eating chicken. Bye!
what was in that chicken, man? Is that like they said? Is that what makes the chicken grow so big, bro? We eating fake chicken out here, man. It's not gonna be a shock or surprise, bro. But that's freaking crazy to wrap my head around, man. She was cutting up the chicken. She just found that. At that point, bro, throw it all away, man. Going into 2036, bro, we about to become vegans.
And John Stewart Reed, he does what is called music medicine.
Uh-oh.
No, it's actually pretty cool.
Oh.
His father was a scientist. They were allowed access to the King's Chamber in the Pyramid of Giza.
Wow.
And you know the big box that's in there? Sarcophagus.
Ooh.
What they did was they put the that frequency reader where you put a certain frequency and it makes a pattern.
Yeah.
They're reading the frequencies from the King's Chamber and they put it in the sarcophagus. And what it did was it formed different hieroglyphics.
Weird.
But he said something very strange happened. So years prior to that, he got in like a car accident, broke his back, and had to have surgery. And so he lived with like chronic back pain. And he said after they did this experiment with the frequencies in the King's Chamber, his back never hurt again.
Oh my gosh.
And so he started studying it from the 80s. Yeah. And basically what he does, it's called music medicine. They take people with like diseases and chronic pain and they play certain frequencies. And he says their blood gets pumped full of more oxygen just from these frequencies.
Wow.
And it allows the healing process to happen quicker.
Jake Paul Kurtz might be alive and well because Anthony Joshua just got into a 2-car accident in Nigeria. So reports are saying that Anthony Joshua was visiting Nigeria and he got into a car crash that could have ended his life. Matter of fact, look at this shit. This shit is crazy because AJ could have lost his life in Nigeria. Look at that. They're actually pulling him out the car. Damn. So they're saying that the car that AJ was in collided head on with another car. And get this, 2 people that was involved with that car accident lost their lives. You heard what I just said? They was on a Lagos expressway and his car collided with a truck. 2 people were dead. Y'all know AJ just finished beating Jake Paul ass. And now this. That's an accident that could have been career ending. That's an accident that could have been life ending. I told you that 2 people lost their lives. Let's hope AJ is alright. Let's hope he comes back in one piece. I'm out.
Rest in peace, FaZe Clan. After all the members have quit this Christmas. For those of you that don't know, this is Banks, one of the founding members of FaZe Clan. He was asked to leave 5 months ago over a crypto controversy that left the rest of the members feeling some sort of way. He left willingly because he didn't want to bring down the rest of the members. But now, only 5 months later, the rest of the members have posted to Twitter that they are all leaving. Banks put out a statement saying he has nothing to do with this, but he still wishes everybody the best. As you can see, one by one, these guys posted online onto Twitter. So apparently the reason that everybody's leaving is because of GameSquare. GameSquare took control after Banks stepped down. And a place that was once a place of freedom, community, lifestyle, has completely changed into something corporate. Since the shift to GameSquare, things have felt more corporate, and some have even come out to say, including Aiden Ross, that there could be a 20% that needs to be given to GameSquare of each member's royalties and earnings. This is primarily, alongside the fact they don't like the new shift in management, is the reason why everyone's leaving FaZe Clan.
Man, bro. FaZe Clan, man. The fact that it's coming to an end, bro. They all left. Jason Wayne, Lacey, Rage, Silky, Adapt, Kason, freaking Rug left. Who else? Swag. It's just like, bro, it's all coming to an end, man. We know FaZe Clan. I've been watching some videos, bro. Coming up on, I was watching the Cloudhouse era on YouTube. I think that's when I was really first introduced to the FaZe Clan, bro. That's crazy, man. They all left, man, over that. They said because GameSquare took over, they wanted that 20%. I guess they said that ain't about to happen, so they all just left, bro. The fact that Rug left too, man. Bro, these freaking big groups, bro, they become big, they get all this money, then they go corporate, then the corporate side, they said came in, just took over the company. So messed up, bro. That's why you're talking about, Agent from AMP said they never going down that route. They keep holding on to their share, bro. They control AMP, they do whatever they want, bro. Total ownership. Way to go.
Kirk and Nicki Minaj? No. Bro, black culture is being held captive. I mean, Nicki Minaj. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls.
Please welcome Nicki Minaj.
There's a theory that Nicki Minaj slipped up when she was talking to Erica Kirk on stage, and she accidentally said JD Vance an assassin.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin.
Whoa.
Shady Vance, our vice president.
And look what
And when
happened.
I say that,
She doesn't know why she said that. Like, oh shit.
trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
See what I mean? And she said that, and she did it in a bag that she accidentally gave the information that people don't know. This is obviously theory. Yeah. That JD Vance might be the reason Charlie Kirk.
Yo.
Look, and then it just gets awkward.
You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. If the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord.
And it's just interesting too, because there was a clip of Charlie Kirk saying Nicki Minaj isn't the best role model for young girls. Yeah. And then Erica Kirk brought Nicki Minaj.
Now, what in the hell do they got going on in this pool at Russia, y'all? Y'all, I wish this was AI or CGI, but this is 100% a real video. Now, they're saying that this is a thermal pool with high mineral content, but I myself have been to a thermal pool and it did not look this green, murky, muddy, poopy, brown type of water. This thing looks like a bouillon soup, a Haitian Creole bouillon soup. I mean, look at the boy in there, huh? The dumplings, huh? Look at the boy, the dumplings in there, y'all. What kind of seasoning you think they use for this pool over here, y'all? This thing looks sinister. It looks like it's doing something to your nervous system. Me even here just watching this is doing something to my belly, man. I don't know what they got going on in Russia, but I, for one, never want to see this place in real life. Let me know what you guys think about it.
Inhabited by aliens and it's being hidden from us.
Saturn is inhabited. Somebody's there.
But the surface is not solid. It's gas.
First of all, no, you don't know that. You've been told that.
Oh.
I got stuff on Saturn you don't have. Very, very impressive scientist from NASA. He began to explain to me stuff about Saturn that blew my mind. My first question was, why the rings? Some of them have said the ring like a dish, like a television dish for deep space communication. So when Saturn moves around, the rings are around it. It's like a dish. And now they can pick up communication from way out.
Is that a snake?
They're not clones. It's worse than that. Everyone's talking about celebrity clones, but what if I told you it's not cloning? It's something the Bible warned us about 3,000 years ago. And you've seen it. Your favorite artist suddenly acts different, or your favorite actor, a different energy, different eyes, and people say they cloned them. But listen, cloning is the cover story for what's actually happening. The Canaanites practiced child sacrifice to Moloch, but it wasn't just killing. In Leviticus 18 and 21, they call it passing through the fire. They were performing soul transfer rituals, harvesting life force and putting entities into other bodies. That technology never died. It just went underground. When someone signs their life away to the industry, that's a covenant. It's a trauma-based programming, and it fractures the original soul. And rituals create the opening. The original person dies spiritually, and a prepared entity walks its way on in the same body, but a different driver. And that's why they seem off. In Mark 5 and 9, it says legion, multiple entities in one body, familiar spirits. In Leviticus 19 and 31, it says demons that mimic the person they replaced. This isn't new. It's ancient Canaanite tech repackaged for entertainment industrial complex. It explains sudden personality changes, lost memories, and different mannerisms, and doing unspeakable things without remorse, because their conscious left, and what's operating now is something else entirely. They don't clone bodies, they steal them, and you're watching it happen in real time.
So who's a clone then, Seekers? Tell me guys down below, man, what celebrity you guys think is truly cloned, man. I want to see those predicts down below. If I had to take a guess, man, I'm gonna go with Jim Carrey, bro. That face, man, really showed up at that French award show, bro. Still gets me to this day.
Okay, this video is not AI. This was taken inside of, I think, a skid steer in Nebraska. And those are not flies, dude. Actually, there is some flies buzzing around out there. But the million little insects on the window, those are ticks. And this guy in this video is talking about how he's never seen ticks like this in his entire life. Now, the mainstream is saying there's so many ticks now because of the climate. And they're saying because of warm winters and stuff. But in where I live, we had the coldest winter for a very long time this year, and now we're said to have a tick explosion this summer. So it makes no sense. Now, the crazy part is, if it's anything like rats, there's not known to be many rats in the interior of Canada up here or in the States here because of the mountains. They can't really get over the mountains apparently. But these ticks, I guess if they happen to fall out of a plane, they could get anywhere, couldn't they? Now, I'm of course not suggesting that anyone's finding any boxes of anything on their farms and stuff, although I have seen a bunch of videos about it. But who do you blame on that when there's no name on the box, no trademark, no property of mention on the box? It's just a blank box that a million ticks crawl out of. And I've been bit by a tick before, by the way, and I'll tell you exactly where. Right around here. I was in Alberta, went over here, and then it was in Manitoba, actually. And this friggin' tick, man, I lay down in a farmer's field at 5 in the morning after a long night's driving, put a blanket down, rested my head, and I woke up to several ticks climbing on me and one tick that had bit me on my side. Anyway, I didn't get alpha-gal or anything like that. I can still eat meat. But that's shocking, dude. What's going on with these ticks? Remember to put on these certain essential oils. You got to find out, do your research, but you can have natural, you don't need to use DEET. You can use natural things to get rid of these damn ticks, man. And get that guinea fowl and that chickens, they eat ticks too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
I think it's related to the weather, man, about this tick explosion, bro, because that was eerie, bro. Seeing them all just crawl around. I was in the tractor, man. Bro. We have to be careful, man. Like I said, this ticks. And these the ones, man, like I said, if they bite you, you don't want to eat meat no more. Which is weird, bro. I always found that weird. Trying to control the meat supply or something? Our best guess.
Shoes to a Red Cross container in Germany to find out where they really go, but what he found might just piss you off. Because what he decided to do was to put an air tag in the shoes to see exactly where they were going to go. So he took the air tag, planted it in the shoe, and then sent them off only to find that the shoes ended up in Bosnia. He then decided that he was literally going to fly to the location to see exactly where the shoes were and exactly what they were doing with them. And after traveling hundreds of miles to go find his shoes and track down exactly where they are, he actually found them in a shop in Bosnia. He was able to buy these shoes back for just $12. And when he was buying them, he asked the staff where the shoes actually came from. And the only thing they said was that they came from Germany, but there was no mention of the Red Cross whatsoever. Which makes people wonder, where do the shoes that people donate to the Red Cross actually go? Are they going to people in need like they're supposed to be, or are they just being resold so that other people can profit from it? But thank you to Mo for running this experiment so we can get more data on where this stuff really ends up. And follow or you might never see me again.
That was actually crazy, man. You donating your shoes and clothes thinking it's gonna go to people in need, but they just reselling it to a store. Reselling it to a store but for a higher price. I wonder if that's gonna spark other people, I guess, to try that social experiment as well. That's so messed up, man. What the hell is he doing? Is he living there?
Many believe a Kardashian's ancestor from Armenia made a deal with 4 witches, trading something like a soul or spiritual essence in exchange for generational fame, beauty, and influence. Yet like most stories about deals with the devil, there's a catch. The women in the family would become incredibly successful, but the men connected to them would suffer. This is where people started pointing out the real-life events. Relationships involving Kim Kardashian and Khloe Kardashian have been highly public, often ending in controversy, struggles, and very public downfalls. To some people, that pattern seems a little bit too consistent to be a coincidence.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment.
It's in the first clip we heard.
Again, I don't think y'all understand how crazy this is. Oliver Tree and 5 other people died in a helicopter collision in the middle of a major world tour. Mind you, prior to this world tour, an album of his was pushed back. Atlantic Records said they wasn't going to release it. So what did he do? He left Atlantic Records, and you don't see nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, look at this shit.
I just got word that my album is no longer coming out. Love You Madly, Hate You Badly is officially canceled, and I'm parting ways with Atlantic Records. Behind the scenes has been nothing short of a nightmare. I have no marketing budgets for music videos, no digital ad spend. Nobody really cares in the building, it seems like. I made a lot of money for Atlantic Records, and they don't seem to remember that. I have gotten no support. They forgot to ingest multiple songs into the system, which means the songs didn't come out. I had a Valentine's Day breakout song that didn't even get released because someone forgot to put it in.
I want to say rest in peace to Oliver Tree. This man spoke out. This man spoke up. And then this man was in a helicopter accident, a collision that took his life along with 5 other people. Take some time and think about everything that you just saw. And then tell me what you think. I know what I think. I think I won't ever get in a helicopter unless I need to.
Chicken Sandwich Project was one man's attempt to make an entire chicken sandwich from scratch, but it did not go as planned. Because he started by writing a list of every single component that makes up a chicken sandwich and realized that he would need to start by growing his own garden, which is exactly what he did. He grew his own crops like cucumbers and lettuce so that he could use them in the burger. He then flew to an ocean to get salt water so he could create his own salt. It turns out that making it through airport security with your own salt is a little bit difficult, but he was able to make it through. He milked a cow, pickled his own cucumbers, churned his own butter, and yes, he slaughtered his own chicken. The entire process took 6 total months of work and $1,500 before he finally was able to assemble the sandwich. And when he finally finished, he bit into his sandwich and he said, it's not bad. And that the last 6 months of his life were, well, not wasted because he proved a lot. What he proved was how insane global trade actually is. In free markets, when every single person can specialize in a tiny little thing, you can get chicken sandwiches like this for $5 to $10, and it can be delivered in like 15 minutes. If we weren't able to trade at this wide and this global of a scale, every single person would need to spend $1,500 in 6 months of their life if they just wanted a chicken sandwich, and that is something we cannot do. So thank you, Andy George, for completing this, and thank you, Free Trade, for making it so I can get a sandwich like this for only $10. Follow for more stories like this, or you might never see me again.
It makes you appreciate those prices you paying for the chicken sandwiches now, doesn't it? Imagine, man, every single time you pull up to, I guess, Chick-fil-A or freaking Popeyes, you say you want a chicken sandwich, $1,500, run it. That would be a no for me, bro. Oh man, thank you for, I guess, the PJ market, bro. I don't got money like that, man. $1,500 on a chicken sandwich, you got it.
Bro, WTF, did anyone catch the World Cup open ceremony? Was it me, or did it look like the United States underwater?
It does.
And does this look like the 2020 to 2024 eclipse path that went over the United States?
Just matching up.
Am I bugging, or was something off about it? This is the angle that reminded me of that old Navy map of the United States, underwater. This is just my opinion. It doesn't mean anything. Probably not related at all, but I just made a video on the Super El Nino that was just confirmed. And I tried to digress and see this at the World Cup.
I have goosebumps, people! Man is going viral after someone called the cops on him for taking both of his little daughters to a public restroom. That was women's, by the way. I want y'all to actually look at this because people was defending the guy that actually called the cops.
There is a man with his 2 little girls.
He on the phone right there.
He is. He's washing his hands with his daughters right now. He is leaving us. All right, baby. She is waiting to use the restroom with her mother.
Minding his business.
Very ill. And who is on oxygen. Immature. And he's refusing. He's taking his sweet time. I have 2 girls washing their hands.
That's it.
This woman is a mother. She's a woman. She can bring her daughters in here. She's a manager of the QT. I'm their dad. I understand. Can you
So he doesn't have any business being in a woman's restroom. Why are you in there then? We're gonna look at the rest of this video in a second, but I'm just trying to understand how did you even know? Who called to complain? First of all. Number two, you're telling him to get out of a woman's restroom and he took his daughters in there. You're in there for what reason exactly? Because you have no business being in there talking to anybody. Let's continue.
That's ridiculous. I got it on video. He's a white man. He's about 5'10". Let me get here soon.
He's still on the phone with the cops. For what reason?
She's trying to get in the women's bathroom and she can't. He's out now.
Yeah, he's out.
To the women's restroom. He wants me to take them to the men's restroom. I'm just standing here. Probably a weirdo that wants to see them in there. Are they coming down here? Do I need to stay down here? Or? Yes. Do I need to speak to them? No, you can come here.
I don't want to talk.
I'm on a road trip.
I can understand if this man was in there by himself. I could definitely understand why you would want him out of that restroom. Yes, but you clearly see he has two daughters, not one, but two daughters. And as a father, if he does not feel comfortable going into a men's restroom with two daughters, he does not want his daughters to see any other man while they are in the restroom. He has the right to do that. It's the same thing if it was the other way around. Like, stop trying to make these things a big deal. These are important things, by the way. They are. If your daughter does not feel comfortable as a father, you got to do what you got to do. So let the police come. That's how I'm feeling. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and follow for more.
See, cause tell me down below, man. Who do you guys was thinking in the wrong? Who do you guys think was in the right? I'm about to say, cause the first question I was about to ask is like, well, is their mom not with them where she can take them in the bathroom? But he said he was on a road trip, so I'm guessing it was just him and his daughters. And the guy's talking about saying you can have the like manager go with him, but maybe he wasn't comfortable with just having a stranger take his daughters into the bathroom. Like, what? And that other guy, and the guy explaining the video had a valid question too. Why you in there? You talking about why is he in the bathroom? Why you in there? Tell me down below, Seekers, man. That's gonna be a good one. A good debate.
Hollywood call you yet? I mean, you know, yeah, I'm a part of that Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? I got a Hollywood agency. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that loop. Question, right? I can't say too much, but I'm gonna say it. Has it ever been a time where it's though? Have you ever got a visitor? A visitor, like somebody come to your house? How can I explain this? When you're getting to certain levels and you're going up, somebody come see you. And want to come talk to you? Somebody come and see you to help you go to the next level. A lot of people, you know how you might see somebody that's not that talented or not that funny or whatever, and all of a sudden they be all the way up here and you trying to figure out how that happened. Now I'm going to rephrase this question. Have anybody came to visit you? Nah, hell nah. Nah. I don't think they gonna try to do that. I'm just saying. Nah, hell no.
Scientists have officially made a daily pill that can make your dog live longer, and the FDA has already backed it, and it could be on the market by the end of this year. The company is called Loyal, and the pill is for senior dogs, which is basically any dog over 10 years old and over 14 pounds. They're saying that this medicine would work by lowering a hormone that makes dogs age faster as they get older. The goal that they have with this medicine is about a year of extra healthy life, which is basically 5 years in dog years.
We're going for one healthier year of dog life. Hopefully more, maybe less, but one healthier year is kind of where we've drawn the line.
And if this medicine gets approved, it would be the first drug ever in any species ever made to slow down aging. Hello? Big dogs actually live almost half as long as small dogs do, and they think that all of that comes down to that same exact single hormone. That's why they started with dogs in the first place, because the plan is dogs first and then humans next. They're saying that dogs are actually a better test for human aging than lab mice. The FDA just cleared 2 of the 3 things that it needs before launch, and the company wants it out by the end of this year for around $100 a month. If this becomes available, would you pay $100 a month to make your dog live longer?
Y'all don't let Turkey win any games. Y'all done brought the boogeyman to America. The fact he's in the same continent as me, I'm kind of nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Was that a real person, bro? I'm sorry, it looks like he was AI generated. No way, man. I'm definitely gonna have to check out Turkey's World Cup team or something now, bro.
Rihanna and Jay-Z theory about what? How
the interview that got leaked, and she exposed her signing, right? So
I heard about this.
So young Rihanna,
Yeah.
she was getting interviewed by someone, and she was like, "Oh, how was like the signing process to Rock Nation?" And then Rihanna was like, "Oh yeah, they told me that they don't sign songs, they sign artists, and there's only 2 ways that this can go." Jay-Z said this to Rihanna.
He said, "We don't sign songs here, we sign artists." And there was this little pause. Oh, then he said, you did it homework. I did a lot of homework on you this lady. He said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
And it was crazy because in the video, everybody in the back, when she said that, Rihanna said that, laughing. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a threat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They were proud of it.
To the reactor, all the frogs are black.
Oh.
Right? Isn't that strange? And then you go a bit further out, they sort of tend to become a little bit lighter. And then if you go far enough out away, then they are essentially back to normal frog
color.
But the frogs all around are very, very dark, sometimes actually pitch black.
Why?
It's amazing. Melanin, which is a pigment that you get in your skin, but also in the skin of frogs, it's the thing that gives you a tan color, but it doesn't just absorb UV, it also dissipates ionizing radiation.
Of course.
Right? So there's all this radiation that's floating around. And so essentially what was happening is that it forced this survival pressure on darker frogs. So the frogs who had much lighter skin would die out much more easily. Only the darker frogs would remain. And then they reckon within about 15 frog generations, the pigment had sort of sorted itself into the population. And there was this natural selection for darkness kind of happening in real time.
Poetry is seen singing about his own death in one of his music videos where he drops from the sky, dies, and death is coming after him. This is insane. You look at this and tell me what you see and what you hear. So in this, they're retrieving his body in this music video after he lands from a helicopter onto the ground, and these are the lyrics. My day will come, I gave too much, I sold my soul. I'm waiting for my pay in full. I only want your dying love. I've seen enough. Then they put him in this vehicle. As you can see, it looks like it's an ambulance. And then watch what happens as it drives off, because there's this figure that's him coming out of it. And that looks like a hearse. And it looks like death is coming for him or something. This is weird. And he had countless other different things in his music videos, in his art about death, and specifically, oddly and coincidentally enough, the way he actually passed even recently. He even recently said a few weeks before he passed, the way he would love to go, be dropped from a helicopter into a volcano.
Say you cheese something, bro. What's that cat saying, man?
As predicted, the World Energy Harvesting Festival has started off with some great symbolism. I don't know if you can see this one right here. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that they love using this symbol. They love showing you this symbol. But most importantly, they love this one. I mean, you'll find them all part of this symbolism that just seems to have something to do with being quiet and showing one eye. There wouldn't be a modern age ritual of demonic suppression without the demons that is Labubu's. You know, there's nothing symbolic about, you know, the GOAT that is Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, the guy, the one that's about to hit 666 million followers, and he's following 633 people on his 6th World Cup. And you know, the most symbolic image of 2026, the World Economic Forum that has predicted a lot of things in this world, definitely doesn't look like Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, kicking the world for the World Cup kinda looks very similar to the Portugal kit, wouldn't you say? But hey, I'm sure this is all just fun and games, and the world probably isn't a stage, because this is all just for entertainment, and I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
What if we gotta pay attention to the World Cup, bro. Like, I knew, man, they was gonna put some type of symbolism, bro. The open ceremony or something, man. Bro, only the seekers, man. Only the real ones gonna pick up on it, bro. Everybody else is gonna you know, not pay attention to it, man. But ever since I started tapping into this content, I knew what they were doing. They threw up that signal.
Found a giant computer chip hidden deep inside the Amazon rainforest. At first, I thought this image was fake. A massive dark shape in the middle of the forest, covered with patterns that look exactly like a computer microchip. So I opened Google Earth. I zoomed into Brazil and started exploring the endless rainforest. Miles of trees, rivers, nothing unusual. Then I spotted a river cutting through the jungle. And nearby, I found it. The same dark area from the first image. A strange geometric shape hidden among the trees. It didn't look natural. It didn't look like a lake. And it definitely didn't look like anything you'd expect to find in the middle of the Amazon. So what is it? A satellite glitch? A secret facility? Or something much older, buried beneath the forest? Because if this really is just an error on the map, why does it look so much like a giant computer chip?
Interesting.
Something is happening in the streets of Nashville, Tennessee. The following video comes from a witness by the name of Indy. She recorded this directly outside her home, and what it appears to be is a person on the streets having an episode. But the thing is, she doesn't think this is drug related. She thinks this is something else, something demonic. And it's truly spooky. And if you listen to the sounds coming out of this unidentified individual, it does feel demonic. But we have to question, is this just a new drug or is it something else? Take a look at the footage, comment below, let us know what you think.
Possessed. I'm going possession on that one. That's the vibes
Did
I
y'all
was
see the
getting.
video of that dog being recorded on top of the Pyramid of Giza? Cause no, let's talk about it. How did that dog get up there? Look at that, y'all. And why? Why is this? Why is this video viral? You feel me? That is 455 feet of steps that dog has to climb up. Like what? Why? What is up there for that dog? What is up there? Y'all do know there's a capstone missing on top of this pyramid, right? Like, what is this story about? That's a dog, right? So y'all seen how the pyramid is missing the capstone, right? Ain't no coincidence. And then on the back of the dollar bill where it says, "In God we trust," we also see the capstone missing. And we see the capstone illuminated like it's the all-seeing eye, like the God's eye. So what if this right here is the metaphor for God returning, the eye of God returning, right? Where they use a dog. Because look at that. The capstone is missing. It's missing on the dollar. And in God we trust. That's a dollar. There's no God on this world. But things are changing as we speak. Again, all this shit that's going on, y'all. God is returning back on the planet. What do y'all think? Let me know what you guys think about this video, because I'm confused. I'm perplexed. Yeah, me too, man. I'm wondering why this dog was climbing the pyramid. But let me know down in the comments below, y'all. Let's get this shift. Peace in.
Why you should never do this. This is
17-year-old Michael Dumas. He was on a church trip to Florida with some of his friends. While on this trip, they went to Pompano Beach, and he would be buried in the sand as you see here. He'd soon be unburied and all would be well until later that night when he would wake up in the middle of the night and be itching like crazy and sweating. At first, this would be labeled as an ear infection and he would be sent home with drops, but it would soon be obvious that that's not what it was, as he started to develop these raised, bumpy rashes. And he became pretty lethargic, just wanting to sleep all the time. It got even worse to the point where he was having these big, nasty blisters. And that's when he'd finally be diagnosed with cutaneous larva migrans, which is pretty much dog or cat hookworm. So pretty much these work by the dog or the cat pooping in the sand and contaminating it, and then not long after, these microscopic larvae hatch, and then you step in this contaminated sand and you end up looking like Michael. After all of this, he ended up developing a staph infection as well, and if it's not bad enough just him getting infected, 5 others from this trip got infected with hookworm as well.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories, part 2. This Snapchat was the last photo ever taken of Sydney Loof, a woman who was killed by her Tinder date. Her body was cut into 14 different pieces, and when it was brought back to the morgue, it was in 6 different bags. This man was transferring oxygen tanks for 12 boys and their coach. He didn't have enough oxygen for himself, however, and died after losing consciousness in one of the cave's passageways. This man is Issei Sagawa, an actual cannibal from Japan. This photo was taken by a Japanese magazine after he was released from prison for insanity. The man in this photo, Franklin Floyd, married a woman and had custody over her children while she was in prison for 30 days. The girl in this photo is one of her children, whom Floyd kidnapped to start a new life with. He left the other siblings behind, and after this photo was taken, he went to another state, changed both of their names, and claimed her as his biological daughter. Later, he went on to marry her.
World is a weird place.
The former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO was just arrested on serious charges and will probably be in prison for the rest of his life. So this is 80-year-old Mike Jeffries, the A&F CEO from 1992 to 2014. You might recognize him because he's been in hot water before, when an interview resurfaced from 2006. Where basically he said he wants cool, attractive people wearing A&F, and that fat, old, unattractive people can go somewhere else. In 2004, there was a class action lawsuit brought by minority employees who said that they were denied employment or forced to work in the back so customers didn't see them. A&F paid $40 million to settle that case. In 2005, there was some controversy surrounding shirts that read, quote, "Who needs a brain when you have these? Gentlemen prefer tickle bitties," and "Do I make you look fat?" So now let's get to the criminal allegations. Mike Jeffries, along with his partner and another man, were arrested yesterday. It is alleged that from 2008 to 2015, these men operated an international trafficking ring. Jeffries and others paid dozens of men to travel to various locations to hold these parties, basically equivalent to Diddy's freak-offs. And these young, vulnerable men were led to believe that this could lead to modeling opportunities and benefit their career. But when they arrived, all their personal items were taken, including cell phones, wallets, and clothing, and they were required to sign NDAs. Victims were injected with drugs, and even when they could not consent or did not consent, Jeffries and his partner would harbor them personally or use objects. The youngest victim was 19 years old, but it's believed that many, many more victims have yet to come forward. Mike Jeffrey and the other defendants face a minimum of 35 years in prison, which is a life sentence for the 80-year-old Mike Jeffries. However, he is free right now because he paid a $10 million bond.
These CEOs, man. How many more crooked CEOs in the world have to be exposed? You know, it's a long list. Whew. Be careful, man. Gotta keep our eyes sharp out here in these streets.
She must have been out of her head.
Not long after this woman vanished, all hell broke loose. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. 35-year-old Crystal Rogers was living with her boyfriend Brooks Huck and her children. On July 3rd, 2015, Brooks woke up and noticed that Crystal wasn't in bed and her car wasn't in the driveway. 2 days had gone by and no word from Crystal was given, until they found her car parked alongside the Bluegrass Parkway with a flat tire, the keys in ignition, and purse and phone in the passenger seat. Almost immediately, Crystal's family suspected her boyfriend Brooks. What's interesting is 16 months later, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, was hunting where an unknown subject fired a shot, hitting and unaliving him. Police are still looking for Crystal and also who unalived her father, and they believe the two cases are connected.
What do you guys think, Seekers?
Weirdest kid toys ever, part 24. So next up we got some bubbles. And it's like a sword. You dip it in like the thing with all the bubble solution crap, and then blah blah blah, you blow your bubbles. But if you take a nice close look at the thing that holds the bubbles, it looks like a nice old dude.
This is why I would never understand fraternities or hazing or anything of that nature. This guy right here, his name was Danny, and he was 18 years old, attending the University of Missouri, not knowing that this one particular fraternity hazing event would lead to his life being forever changed. Now this happened in 2021, and he was forced to drink 1 liter of vodka by himself, and he was seen on CCTV footage being carried downstairs. This had happened after he was being forced to go into a thing of broken glass, leaving him basically in crutches. But this particular evening, he was caught on CCTV footage being carried around onto a couch on CCTV footage, and then he was being dragged into a car, and I think he fell out the car at one point, and then he was taken to the hospital. At this point, he was already in cardiac arrest by the time he had got to the hospital. He was in a coma for a long time. He finally was able to get out of the coma. Unfortunately, he lost his ability to see, brain function, and this is him now, y'all. This is so sad. Please do not let fraternity, hazing, or any of that kind of stuff affect your life, because this is crazy to me. Like, this is not hazing, this is torture.
Creepy games from...
She was spitting facts, man. Like I said, some of those hazings, they're not even hazing. They just shit seems like it's a torture scheme. When people trying to do that to fit and be cool, man, I'm cool off that. When it gets too extreme, y'all got that. I'm out. I'm my own person, man. I'm not going through all that crazy crap just so a bunch of people I know can accept me. If you can't accept me for who I am, why would I want to be friends with you?
From around the world, part 1. South Korea's The Elevator Game, which will supposedly take you to a whole nother dimension. The only thing you need for this game is an elevator, a building with 10 floors, and to be alone. So get in the elevator on the 1st floor, then push the 4th floor. Once you get to the 4th floor, don't get out. Push the 2nd floor. Once you get to the 2nd floor, push the 6th floor. Once you get to the 6th floor, push the 2nd floor. Once you get to the 2nd floor, push the 10th floor. Once you get to the 10th floor, push the 5th floor. That's when a woman may enter. Don't look at her, don't talk to her. Then push the 1st floor. If you start going up to the 10th floor, then you know it worked. Once you get to the 10th floor and get out, the woman may ask you, where are you going? Don't answer, but you'll know you've made it there because you're the only living thing there. But the hardest part isn't getting there, it's getting back.
Imagine dropping your child at school.
I won't be playing that.
Day like any other. But instead of being called to pick her up, you're called to pick up her body. Here's what we know. On Wednesday, the 7th of August, after failing to return home after school, 16-year-old Devaney Null was reported missing. After a later police search of the Overberg High School premises, however, her body was discovered in a storage room. In the aftermath of the disturbing discovery, the school has been closed today, the 8th of August, and counseling services have been offered to both students as well as their parents. A murder case has also been opened, and the investigation has been transferred to the Provincial Serious and Violent Crimes Team. Anyone with information about the crime can contact Investigating Officer Leon, or alternatively the Crime Stop hotline. As always, I'll be sure to keep you updated.
As the renewed search for the missing Beaumont children reached its 4th day today, the brothers who said the prime suspect hired them to dig a grave-like hole at the site in 1966 have come to assist. So in 1966, Robin and David Harkin were paid by the prime suspect in the case, Harry Phipps, to dig a grave-like hole at the former Castlereagh factory that's southwest of Adelaide, not far from the beach where the Beaumont children disappeared, and this happened only days after the children went missing. The Harkin brothers were boys at the time, and they didn't really think anything of it until 2013 when a documentary featuring the missing Beaumont children was aired, and it discussed Harry Phipps as a potential suspect. Phipps didn't become a serious suspect until 2004 when he passed away and his son Hayden made allegations about him and about the day the Beaumont children disappeared. So when the brothers saw this documentary talking about the children and Harry Phipps, they recalled this hole that he paid them to dig just days after the children went missing. Over the years, there have been a few searches at this property, but to no avail. sale. But on Saturday, an excavation of the property was organized by independent MP Frank Pancallo. This new dig is taking place before the government-owned land is sold to developers, and it is due to stop on March 1st. Pancallo said this new search is far more intensive than previous digs by police of the same site. Earlier this week, they discovered a hardened slab that was buried deep beneath the dirt that had never been found before. And then on day 4, the Harkin brothers arrived to assist. Pancallo said the information provided by the Harkin brothers has changed the direction of the dig, saying, quote, "The brothers were able to pinpoint the position they thought they had dug the hole. They provided a lot of useful information. They've given us a lot more clarity on where to dig. This dig is only set to continue through this weekend, so hopefully something is found and the Beaumont children can finally be found and their family and the community can finally have answers about what happened to them."
Justice for them.
Behind me are 38-year-old Crystal Turner and 24-year-old Caitlin Schultz. They were a married couple who absolutely loved camping and spending time in the outdoors, but the pair were last seen alive on the 13th of August 2021. They were last seen at a bar in Morb at 9:30 that night. Witnesses who had seen them at the bar claimed that nobody had followed them out that night. After no one had heard from the pair for a few days, Cailin's father contacted a friend who lived in the area where they were camping. And the father had said down the phone to Cailin's friend that Cailin and Crystal were a little bit concerned about a creeper dude that had been near their campsite. So the friend went to their campsite in the Las Sal Mountains, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And this was on August 18th, 2021, so a couple of days after they'd last been heard from. And when they did this, they actually stumbled across their remains. And the worst part is they were on the phone with Cailin's father as they discovered them. And the friend then contacted the police. Both of them were found undressed from the waist down in a creek, and they had both been shot to death. And this case was pretty much cold, and it still kind of is. Now, this one is technically unsolved, and I'll explain why in a minute, but there's actually no way we can confirm who did it. And it wasn't until May 2022 when police said that they had a suspect in this case. And this suspect was called Adam. But however, Adam was reported to have left the state and then taken his own life. Adam had also confessed to another killing in that area as well and provided police with details that were not known to the public. The motive for the murder still remains completely unknown, and it's still not clear if this Adam character did actually murder them, and I suppose there's going to be no way to prove it because he's dead. But I just think this one is absolutely heartbreaking, and the pair deserved so much better.
Be careful when you're out. You never know, man. Dangers lurk around each and every single corner. Witness that firsthand. You know, if you're expert level seekers, man, you can see through all the edits.
Y'all, the Watts house has to be haunted, because tell me why the new owners of the Watts house are getting a divorce, and allegedly the dad, the husband, put his hands, or was some type of DV situation, or whatever the case may be, towards the wife. This is crazy. So basically the Watts house was put on the market after Shanann, Bella, and Cece were unalived by Chris Watts. It took a while for the house to sell. It was on the market for a long time. I want to say it was on there for $700,000, right? They went ahead and closed on the house, and for what it seemed like, everything was going well. Well, eventually, there was a report that there was a call from the wife. They also, mind you, have 2 daughters and 1 son. It's very similar to what Shanann and Chris, had. They were going to have a son, and they also had 2 daughters. Anyways, so there was a call of a domestic complaint, and the wife basically said that she felt like her husband was going to put his hands on her. I think he was, either maybe drunk or whatever the case may be. I'm not 100% sure, but there was some type of domestic dispute in the house. Now, he did get arrested, y'all. He did get arrested. I was able to find proof of his arrest. There is a record. Basically, you got to look into, I believe it was Frederick, Colorado. And yeah, it will come up. But anyways, he did get arrested, and they're selling the house. They're getting a divorce, selling the house, allegedly. Now the house is back on the market. I'm not 100% sure if it's sold to a new person yet or not, but it's back on the market again. Y'all, I feel like this house needs to be torn down and turned into a memorial at this point, because why is it every time they sell this house, it's getting back on the market?
This
Yeah,
is a
sell
case
it.
that has continued to bother me. Sarah Kinslow was born on June 14th of 1986. She grew up with 3 siblings and 2 loving parents in Greenville, Texas. Growing up, she was very musically inclined. She even entered a women's composer competition and she won first place. She was known to often do solos at her church, and she was just very talented when it came to music. Sarah was also a very happy child. It was well known that she loved the holidays, especially Christmas. Her parents said that she would wake up super early on Christmas morning and go wake up all of her siblings, and she couldn't contain her excitement to the point where she would grab her stockings and then go and jump in her parents' bed to open everything. But as Sarah started getting older, she started hitting a more rebellious streak. When she turned 14, she started staying out late, sneaking out. Like, she was just being kind of a rebellious teenager, and things seemed to get worse when she met 18-year-old Curtis Wayne Bell, and I don't have a picture of him. I'm sorry about that. Sarah's parents obviously did not approve of this relationship. They did not like Curtis, which is understandable because he was 18 and she was 14. Just the age difference that Sarah's parents didn't agree with. Curtis was also known to be a really not a great dude. He was very involved in drugs, and even Sarah's older brother, he was in jail for unknown reasons, and even he said that the inmates had told him that Curtis was not a good person and his younger sister should. But this did not stop Sarah. In fact, this would lead to a lot of arguments in the home, and even one night Sarah started packing up all of her stuff, and she told her parents that one day she would be gone. On May 1st of 2001, Sarah went to school early that morning. Her dad dropped her off around 7:20. They wanted to go early because Sarah had plans to meet with some of her friends. Sarah's dad left and then went about his day. It wasn't until later when Sarah didn't return home from school, and then the school eventually calling saying that Sarah had never been at school, that her parents got worried. They started questioning her friends and asking all of them where Sarah was. None of them knew where she had gone because they had plans that day to skip school and go to a local cemetery, but Sarah had never shown up, according to her friends. It was after this that Sarah's family decided to report her missing, and at first she was considered a runaway, and her parents agreed that she probably ran away. And it wasn't until all of the friends agreed to take a polygraph test and all of them failed that things started to get strange. Now, polygraph tests are not that reliable, but still it is worth noting. That's when police brought in dogs, and the dogs did track Sarah's scent for 2 blocks, but then it disappeared, so they believe that Sarah got into a vehicle. We'll get into more in part 2. Give me a couple minutes to get it up. It'll be down in the comments.
What is the craziest thing that someone's confessed to on their deathbed? Well, a deathbed confession made this year solved a 20-year-old cold case. And this is coming from the Heart Starts Pounding podcast episode that's all about cold cases that were solved this year. So this year in West Virginia, a man named Larry Webb was dying. And before he died, he called a nurse over and said he needed to get it off his chest that he killed a woman and her daughter back in 2000. It turns out that back then, a woman named Susan Carter and her 10-year-old daughter Alex were living with Larry while Susan was in a custody battle with Alex's father. One day they just disappeared, but because they were together when they disappeared, police assumed that Susan just ran away with her daughter. But Larry confirmed that that's not what happened. The story he gave on his deathbed is that one day he came home to see that Susan was stealing money from him, and so he shot her. And then panicking, he wanted to get rid of all the witnesses, and that included Alex, her daughter. And to me, the craziest thing in all of this is that Larry had really bad dementia, so when he gave this confession, they weren't really convinced that it was true. But the day after he died, both of their remains were found in his backyard. If you want to hear more on that story and other cold cases that were solved this year, check out the Cold Cases That Were Solved This Year episode of the Heart Starts Pounding podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
It goes to show you, man. People in their last moments, that's when they want to get the truth off their chest, man. Something about their last moments, man. They just want to go, I guess, into wherever they about to go, into with peace of mind, but the damage is done. Wonder how many other people, man, who are still holding in their secrets. You know what that is. All day, every day.
What is
one true crime case that you just can't stop thinking about. I always wonder what really happened to 6-year-old Catherine Korzelius. On August 7th, 1996, Catherine, along with her mom Nancy and her brother Chris, were out running errands. Catherine's dad was Paul Korzelius, who at the time was the tour manager for John Bon Jovi. That day was Paul's birthday, so they were all out looking for a present for him. They all lived on Elder Circle, which is a small neighborhood near Austin, Texas. When they got back to Elder Circle, Catherine wanted to pick up the mail from the community mailbox and then walk home. The mailboxes were only about 1/8 of a mile from their home, and Catherine had done this a few times before, so her mom let her. Catherine would take the shorter route home, while her mom and brother would take the longer route around Elder Circle. This way, they would be getting home at almost the same time. But once Nancy and Chris got home, with still no sign of Catherine, Nancy sent Chris to go and look for her. But when Chris couldn't find her, Nancy started searching for her by car. Within minutes, they found her laying in the middle of the road on Elder Circle. She was unconscious, but still breathing. According to Nancy, she didn't want to make her daughter lay on the hot pavement, so she picked her up and took her to the hospital. Little Catherine suffered from a fractured skull and never regained consciousness, and sadly, she died later that day. Authorities initially thought that Catherine was a victim of a hit and run, but certain things didn't add up. Where Catherine's body was found was in an unusual spot. Her mom last saw her walking towards their house, but her body was found a little over a mile away from their home in the opposite direction that she was supposed to have gone. Catherine's body was actually found along the route that her mom and brother took to get home, and the autopsy only deepened the mystery. The autopsy showed that Catherine didn't die from a hit and run. Along with her head injury, she also had abrasions on her left shoulder, lower back, right hip, and her knees. The ME found that Catherine had either jumped, fallen, or was thrown from a moving vehicle. One theory investigators came up with was that Catherine maybe tried to hold on to the back of her mom's car on the drive home, but fell off. This would explain the location of where her body was found. But her family did not believe this, so they hired a PI. The PI noted that it was a really hot summer day, and at the time, Catherine's left thumb was broken and in a splint, so it would have been really difficult for her to hold on to anything. And it's likely her mom would have seen her in the rearview mirror. Catherine's family believes she was abducted and murdered. After her death, investigators brought in a canine unit that tracked her scent to a vacant lot 30 yards from the mailboxes, but it was lost after that. This sparked a theory that Catherine was approached by an attacker at the mailboxes, ran into the lot, was caught and thrown into a car, struck in the head, and then was thrown out of the vehicle where she was found. Nancy also stated that it appeared her daughter's body was laid out for her to find. Her hair was smoothed down, her clothes were straight, and her sandals were still on. Unfortunately, there's never been any answers in this case, and it's still labeled a suspicious death. John Bon Jovi wrote a song dedicated to Catherine called August 7, 415. And sadly, in March of 2020, Catherine's brother Chris, who grew up to be a police officer, was tragically killed in a car accident.
It's a mysterious case. It used to be so
Hello, true crimers. It's time for another episode of Coldest Cases by State. Today, South Dakota. Brr. So, this is the kind of strange case of Arnold Archambault and Ruby Bruguier. They were actually part of the Yankton Sioux tribe. They were a happy couple and they had just recently had a baby. And then a tragedy happened on December 11th, 1992. So, the two of them had joined Ruby's cousin, Tracy Dion, for a night of partying. Around 6 a.m. on December 12th, they would come home after the night of partying. But because they were still intoxicated, the babysitter, who was actually Tracy's father, said, "Can you please just come back later?" So they got back in the car. Arnold was driving the car. And just a few short minutes after they left the house, they would get involved in a car accident. The car had overturned. This is not the exact car, by the way. The witness would say that Arnold swerved because the road was icy, and then they flipped into this ditch. So this is when it gets kind of strange. Allegedly, Arnold is able to get out of the car and he fled. Ruby then escapes the car and she flees. Neither of them apparently helped Tracy. When paramedics arrived to the accident, they were able to save Tracy. She was honest. She said, "We've been drinking. I have no idea where my friends went." Police would only speculate that because of DWI laws that maybe they fled because they were scared of being arrested. Their families, however, would say no, they wouldn't do that, especially not to their baby. They searched the woods, and they never found this couple. They literally just poofed into thin air. And they conducted these searches for months. They should have been somewhere in the area. This is a still image pulled from Unsolved Mysteries, where this case actually aired. The OG Unsolved Mysteries. So this isn't the real scene. But in March of 1993, About 3 months later, in the ditch just 75 feet away from where the car accident happened, was the decomposed body of Ruby Bruguier. The ditch had water in it, so the next day they pumped out the water, and in that same area they found the decomposed body of Arnold Archambault. It was only like 15-20 feet away from where Ruby was. You know what's stranger? He wasn't as badly decomposed as Ruby was. They also found a tuft of Ruby's hair at the crime scene, which is very odd. The autopsy would show they died of exposure. A witness said they saw Ruby and Arnold at a New Year's Eve party 3 weeks after the accident. That witness took a polygraph and passed. Police say foul play wasn't involved. Were they murdered? How come they're in the same spot as the car accident, months later? This one is so weird, right?
Yeah. Definitely seems like...
Welcome to Crime TikTok. Today we're going to talk about children who have killed. In this video, we're going to focus on the 11-year-old girl, Mary Flora Bell. Many believe that she wouldn't have stopped killing if she wasn't arrested. The first child who was murdered by Mary was 4-year-old Martin Brown. He was found on the floor of an abandoned house by a group of boys that were playing in the area. Blood and saliva were dropping down his cheek. Soon after, these young boys saw Mary and her best friend Norma coming towards the house. However, during the investigation, the police found no evidence of foul play and left his cause of death as open. This was also because they found an empty bottle of aspirin nearby the body. A few weeks later, another boy's body was found. It was 3-year-old Brian Howe. He was strangled to death. He was found in an industrial area of the town, and he had been mutilated on the thighs and genitals. And the pair of scissors which were used were right next to him. The letter M was also carved with a razor on his belly. Mary stood out as suspicious to the police because she was happy about the murder. And she got caught.
Weirdest crime facts, parts 1 through 25. This photo is the definition of fear. An LA woman was evading a home intruder by hiding on her roof, and she managed to grab her phone and dial 911. She said that her greatest fear was that he would try to hide where she was hiding. Juan Catalan was put on death row and spent nearly 6 months in prison for the murder of a teenage girl. He was the prime suspect only until his lawyer came across some unused footage from Curb Your Enthusiasm. The footage proved that Catalan had been at a Dodgers game with his daughter at the time of the murder. Joe Arity was a mentally disabled 23-year-old man who was falsely executed in 1939. Joe was known as the happiest man on death row, for he likely didn't even know that he was being put to death. For his last meal, he requested ice cream, and even saved some for after the execution.
True crime in 60 seconds.
That's
Let's
insane.
go. You guys want it spooky? Buckle up.
12-year-olds Anissa and Morgan were obsessed with Slender Man that they found on creepypasta.com. They were so afraid of him that they actually planned to kill their best friend Peyton to be deemed worthy by Slender Man. On May 31st, 2014, they planned to tape her mouth shut and stab her in the neck and run away. They didn't follow through with this, so then they also planned to stab her in a local park bathroom. They didn't go through with this, and during a game of hide and seek in Davids Park in Waukesha, Wisconsin, they actually stabbed her 19 times while pinning her down to the ground. They told her that they were going to go get help, but then they fled. Peyton managed to drag herself to the side of the road where she would then be found by a cyclist. The girls were found, and they had the knife on them. In February 2018, they were both found not guilty by mental disease or defect. They were both sentenced to long periods of time in a mental institution.
Man, those creepypastas, bro, they really mess people up. What the? I had no idea somebody took it to that far, to that extreme. They were afraid of Slender Man, and they wanted to be deemed worthy. What the world we coming to sometimes, Seekers? There's some more creepypasta cases, man.
John Jones was a husband and a recent father who decided to go cave exploring in the Nutty Putty Cave in Utah. While exploring with some friends, they decided to challenge themselves by passing through a narrow passageway that leads to a larger room, which was called the birth canal. John squeezed through the opening and made his way forward, only to realize that there was no larger opening. The group had missed the birth canal and were now crawling through a passageway that didn't lead to anywhere. John couldn't move forward anymore, and he could no longer turn back on his own. He was stuck upside down, with his hands pinned under him, with only his feet sticking out. Search and rescue came and set up a pulley system because drilling him out was too slow and too painful. But the pulley system can only work if they broke John's legs, After 27 hours stuck inside the cave upside down, John had died of positional asphyxiation. It was too dangerous and difficult to retrieve John's body from the cave, so authorities closed off that section. To this day, John remains wedged inside of the Nutty Buddy cave. A lot of the creepy...
Really? What the hell? The Nutty Putty Cave. A name like that? You wouldn't think something bad would happen. Being in that enclosed space, man, I couldn't even do that. That's special type of person, man, to go in caves like that. He had to break both his legs too. Just for him to get out, that shows you how narrow that freaking passageway he went through was. It's a miracle you meet
Photos you
through
see on the
that.
internet are just not real. Unbeknownst to this diver in Australia, he caught on camera the moment that Tina Watson was sinking to the bottom of the ocean after her husband, Gabe Watson, killed her on their honeymoon. This is the last photo of Regina K. Walters, who was just 14 years old, and it was taken by serial killer Robert Ben Rhodes.
Medieval torture device part 8. This is called the head crusher. The victim's head will be placed in between the top and the bottom bar. And the executioner then slowly turned the latch on top, so that way the head can be crushed. And sadly, it would actually take quite a long time to pass away until someone's jaw pops out, and their eyes as well. Sometimes, to make the torture worse, the executioner might take a metal pipe and hit the top as well to bring the victim more pain.
Man, those medieval torture devices back in the day, they were on a different type of time and demon time, bro.
This is what my parents should believe their kids. In 2010, a 15-year-old boy started to notice that the door to his attic, which was in his bedroom, was always open. One day, when his mom's giving him a hard time about being lazy, he's like, well, you're one to talk. You always leave my attic door open. She's like, I haven't touched your attic door in months, and nobody else has either. Not easily frightened, the boy decides to leave the attic door open. And so he's laying in bed, and he kind of looks over at the door, and standing in the door frame is a figure staring right at him. He bolts, tells his parents, they don't believe him, and then 6 months later they move anyway. A few years later, the boy discovers his favorite teacher actually moved into his old house. And so he jokingly asks her, you ever see any ghosts walking around your attic? Her face got completely serious, and she's like, you know, as soon as we moved in, the door to the attic kept opening. So we investigated, and we found a trap door that led onto the roof. Someone had been crawling in through that entrance and living in the attic for years.
I've been saying that's like one of my worst fear seekers, man. Those cases always get to me. The cases of people like living in somebody's house, man. They have no idea they're there, and they're confined to that small space, man. But the people in that house have no idea that they're even there. That's kind of crazy to think about. No, it is, man. Imagine like you being in your house. Your home's supposed to be a sanctuary, the place where you feel safe, but somebody's just invading your space, man, and you have no idea that they're there, and they can do whatever you want to you at any time. Crazy to think about. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification bell, man, and hit that like button, man, so more people can tap in with us, man. They could join the seekers, man, so we can just grow even faster. Guys can catch you in the next one, man. We're doing these daily uploads. Appreciate the support. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.